What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Zach Costello Show. I'll get in the comments after asking you all to hit that like button as you all come in. People will say, like, why would I hit that like button before I watch the video? And look, that's fair enough. You guys have heard me say that if I don't have that initial credibility with you, that's fine. But as soon as you get value, you need to hit that like button, okay? And you can at least promise me that. Also, I need you guys to double check and make sure that you're subscribed. If you've been subscribed, I just need you to double check to make sure that you still are. You'd be shocked at how many people say, like, oh, I thought I was subscribed, and they go and double check and they realized that they were not. Go and check. Sometimes YouTube does some things where they, I don't know, clean out subscribers. I don't know what they're doing, but just do me a favor, double check to make sure that you're subscribed, or subscribed if you're not already. Okay. I'm excited for today's show. In just a few moments, we're going to be joined by Kasia from the Daily Freddo YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to Kasia or following her on social media, I highly suggest that you do so. Kasia has been dropping some bombshells, and that's not an exaggeration, on the Erika Kirk and Andrew Kolvet-led Turning Point USA 2.0. She also has a unique perspective on the global political consequences that have occurred from this Charlie Kirk assassination fallout that I think is just very important for us to talk about. It's a good perspective, especially for us Americans, which most of you all are here, to have and to keep. But when it all comes down to it, guys, whether we like it or not, Erika Kirk is the CEO of Turning Point USA. And she is of a certain political and religious agenda that has real life consequences, which Kasia experiences for real, firsthand, as you're about to see. The plan is we're going to go max for a bit, and then we'll get to everyone's super chats here at the end. Kasia joins the Zach Costello Show right after you all make sure that you are stocked up on, our krill oil. The Zach Costello Show is powered by Native Path Krill Oil. Take a listen. The show is brought to you by Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil. 73 miles off the coast of Antarctica, in waters so clean they're virtually untouched by human pollution, lives a tiny organism that researchers believe may be one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients ever discovered. It's called krill. And today's sponsor has figured out how to get it to your door. If you have been taking fish oil for heart, joint, or memory support, here's something you need to know. Research shows fish oil is 50% less absorbable than krill oil because fish oil's omega-3s are in triglyceride form, while krills are in phospholipid form, which is the same format your cell walls are made of. That means krill oil gets into your cells immediately. In head-to-head studies, krill oil outperformed fish oil at improving cholesterol, reducing inflammation, and easing joint pain, often at lower doses. Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil is sourced from pristine Antarctic waters, contains the powerful antioxidant astaxanthin, and comes in a soft gel. No fishy burps. Trust me, I know, and I can't stand them. And my wife is happier that I'm taking krill. Learn more and grab your supply at getnativepath.com/Zach. That's GET nativepath.com/Zach. I see some of you guys in the chat already. Okay. Yes, you all know that I operate on ZST, which is, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes behind actual time. If you want to wait until the video starts in ZST's time to hit the like button, that's fine. So if you want to wait 5 or 10 minutes, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. All right, guys. Well, without further ado, I'd like to bring in Kasia. Kasia, thank you for joining the Zach Costello Show today.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
So, Kasia, I want to lead off with a post of yours. And we were talking about this a little bit before we went live, but a post of yours that really caught my eye. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to bring this up for us here. So you posted on X that I was filming today's video, and once again, I had to stop every few minutes because of warplanes roaring over my house. So please don't ever ask me again what business I have being interested or talking about American politics. Maybe I'll lose interest when my windows stop rattling and my house stops shaking from military planes screaming across the sky above me. The reality is that decisions made in the US or its greatest ally land don't just stay there. For some of us, we can literally hear the consequences from our living rooms. That hit me because as an American citizen, like obviously I'm interested in American politics and culture. Like everybody here knows that I talk about that extensively. Um, I know there are many out here watching that watch my channel that are from different countries. But as Americans, and I said this to you, I think we have the tendency to almost discount the perspective from others around the world, especially as it relates to American politics. Like we have a tendency to think, oh, well, because you don't live here, then your perspective matters less. But what's interesting is that we here in America, like we don't live with warplanes or threats of bombs on a daily basis. Like we tend to forget that American political decisions actually have real and sometimes severe global consequences. And I think this is a good place for us to start. And I think we have significant overlap here in our thinking and perspective, especially as it relates to the Charlie Kirk assassination and its political and cultural fallout, and the current Erika Kirk and Andrew Kolvet, led Turning Point USA. So
Yes.
my question for you is that for those of us who don't know you, for those who aren't familiar with you, um, who are you? What is the Daily Freddo? And why did you get started on YouTube, in the YouTube commentary arena as it relates to politics and culture? And what are you going for? What do you stand for?
Okay. Well, I am Kasia. Daily Freddo. Freddo is actually a type of iced coffee that we drink in Cyprus. There's frappe and there's Freddo. And Freddo became more popular. So therefore, my channel is kind of like sitting down, drinking coffee and chatting. Okay.
Okay.
That's like sipping tea, spilling tea, spilling coffee, something like that. The concept came from simple brainstorm with my husband. I really wanted to start YouTube channel. I really felt like I have a lot to say. And initially it was supposed to be, the target audience was supposed to be Cyprus. And I wanted to create content explaining maybe like viral stories in Cyprus to those that live here but don't speak Greek. But then I did one episode about Queen Cleopatra series from Netflix. And that's how I got my American audience, because they were interested in my perspective on that. And I started getting a lot of followers from there, or a lot of subscribers, and kind of switched gears. And because I was always interested in, I would call it like social politics, cultural news, and then it kind of formed into politics, because I realized that everything stems from politics. Even if you comment on entertainment, it's politics. There's politics behind it. You talk about Netflix, there's politics. The new series, everything mirrors what's happening in the world politically. So it was kind of, I couldn't avoid it. I became, I started commenting on politics. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is now. It's still cultural. It's still like social politics. But ever since what happened with Charlie Kirk, started diving deeper than, right versus left issues. I had a lot of fun on my channel commenting on blue-haired people, mm-hmm. All these like super extreme stuff, pronouns. So that was kind of the content that I was doing. Mm-hmm. I also commented a lot on entertainment, on movies, but again, with that angle, political angle. So yeah, then what happened with Charlie Kirk, it forced me into further, deeper research into what's been happening before, when what led to his passing, I will call it. Not sure yet what words I can use on your channel or not. I will find out during this live.
Oh,
But yeah, so
there's no filters here. There's no filters here, and it's probably to my own detriment.
whoa.
I'll go on channels. I believe Coach Colin has referred to me as a wild boy. Yeah,
Mhm.
you don't have to hold anything back here.
Okay, then everyone will hear me saying these words for the very first time. I think it's like, but
Everyone else
yes.
can
So
experiment with my channel to be like, oh, hey, like let's see what type of let's see what words are against the rules. If Zach's getting
okay,
throttled, then we should probably not say those things.
yeah, okay. It's like little kids, yeah, when they try to swear in front of their parents. Like, how far can I take it?
Yes,
Let's see.
that's what my channel's for.
Okay, cool. Well, so yeah, because of Charlie Kirk investigation, started getting in more into politics. I started, these dots started kind of like connecting themselves. When I found out that he spent, and I told you that before, that he spent 2 days at the White House, whispering into Donald Trump's ear not to start the war.
Yep.
I was like, oh man, and now we're living it. Now I actually am sitting at my house and we have warplanes flying over our heads. And
Mhm.
like I told you, because Cyprus, for those who don't know, it's like 200 kilometers. I don't know how much it is in miles, but we use metric system here. So
You're so nice, Kasia.
no
So
shade.
I had me as the basic American boy that I am. I had to ask Kasia where Cyprus was before we got started today.
I wasn't gonna reveal it. I am nice.
You're nice. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so Cyprus is actually just 200 kilometers from Beirut in Lebanon. So there were nights where we could hear, very faded, but we could hear when it was like those days when the bombing there was very intense, we could hear it. We
Mhm.
could see when they were bombing Israel, we could see the bombs in the sky at night. Actually, there were places in Cyprus where you could clearly see it falling. So we are very close. So a lot of the times when I would film, and some of my videos have those moments, we kept them in the videos. I would be filming and there would be a plane flying over my house. And it's so loud, guys. If you ever heard a warplane or a war jet, I don't know, they are so loud. My house was shaking every time. It's crazy. It's not like a normal plane. Because I live next to the airport, by the way, very close, like 5 minutes to the airport. So I know how the planes sound. So when I heard the warplane first time, or like the jets, we had Greek jets here, taking off, it was insane. I ran outside. I was like, what is happening? The sky is
Mhm.
falling, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, and and as I shared in that post, like I mean that gives you a unique perspective on the political happenings and the consequences of them in America. And I think that, as you mentioned, a lot of these things became evident, or a lot of people's eyes were opened after the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I think however you want to look at the Charlie Kirk assassination, what we what we can say clearly and what was revealed was a certain political and cultural agenda that maybe most people weren't aware of that was going on kind of under the scenes, or maybe not necessarily behind the scenes, or kind of like underneath whatever we would refer to as the right. I think what it
Hmm.
exposed is um, certainly some problematic political behavior that has taken place on the right. And what you said is interesting, because it's very similar to kind of my YouTube come up, in that I started just kind of doing pre-records of general political topics, but it was very left and right divided. It was a lot of like attacking the left, and you know, like you had mentioned, you were going after haired individuals, and that's
Hmm.
similar to mine. Like I was going after the woke left. I was very big on the Trump administration. I thought that the woke left was going way too far, especially with regard to First Amendment rights, and their attack on free speech with censorship laws on social media in particular. Um, I'm a, a I'm a Christian, so I thought that um, their whole political ideology was very anti-Christian. So I stood up against that, and I thought that President Trump and the administration were going to go in and really provide, and really ensure that a lot of those protections as it relates to free speech, freedom of religion, um, and just to ensure that we have a country where, I can talk about what I consider the truth, and I can talk about my Christian values, and we can pursue the truth in good faith, especially as it relates to, certain historical circumstances that we've all been subject to. Like, I mean, we want to talk about the JFK assassination. We want to talk about the E-files. I guess I can censor myself there when I say E-files, right?
Good idea.
COVID and the greatest doctor, Anthony Fauci, and then the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like, we want to be able to talk about all of these things. But now what's become the problem, especially after the Charlie Kirk assassination case, is that you have this segment on the right that I think is behaving more like the woke left than who they refer to as the woke right. So where they are now attacking people like us, people like Candace Owens, people like Baron Coleman, and a lot of these individuals in this, what you would call alternative anti-establishment media space, calling us now detrimental and going after our First Amendment rights, very similar to how the woke left was doing prior to the Trump administration. So I think all of this has become very evident and become clear, and people's eyes have been open. Like, people have become the actual, true form of woke, which is aware, eyes open, anti-establishment. Now that Charlie Kirk, unfortunately was assassinated right before our eyes.
Yes. What bothers me about that other right, let's say, is that they are weaponizing Christianity. They are weaponizing religion. And I see this all the time. So I see the comments like, oh, it doesn't sound like a real Christian. Oh, this is not a very Christian thing to do. There is so much judgment by the very people that claim they are the best Christians, It is crazy. And it started with Erika Kirk, actually. We can really see how every time she speaks, it's kind of like from a judgy point of view. I don't know. The way she says things, it's like she goes, if you don't think I'm the best, that means you don't believe in God. If you think I had something to do with Charlie's passing, that means you're not a good Christian. You're not going to go to heaven if you disobey me, or if you are against me, or if you say something wrong about me. This is what I've noticed, and this is what bothers me the most about it. Okay, this kind of competition. Who's the better Christian now? I don't know. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, so that's something that I talk about very often on my channel, and I'm curious as to your, I would say, your development in thinking as it relates to Erika Kirk. And we'll get to that here in a second. But one of my biggest problems with all of this is, and I've said this to my audience many, many times, I started out with a lot of sympathy, and I was very much rooting for Erika Kirk. Like, I covered a lot of her initial speeches, and I was like, yeah, here we go. Like, I wasn't even that sketched out that she became the CEO of Turning Point USA. I was like, you know what? All right. And if she were just to come out and be like, look, this isn't something that I planned. Obviously, my husband was assassinated. I feel like I'm in a good spot to carry on his legacy. Yes, I have two kids at home. I'm probably not going to be able to handle the travel schedule that Charlie had, but I'm going to step in and make sure that I can make sure that his vision is carried out and his legacy is carried on. I think most of us would have just been like, all right, cool. But it's this, what has become problematic, and what became initially problematic was, it was after that meeting that she had with Candace Owens, to where, because Candace was very similar with regard to her sympathy that she had for Erika Kirk early on. But it wasn't until Erika lied to Candace's face, specifically about Andrew Kolvet going rogue and the description of Charlie's steel neck, that certainly rubbed Candace the wrong way. I believe that Erika and Justin Strife also lied to Candace's face about their meeting with that donor that was called in the immediate aftermath of Charlie being killed. And there's also been some other things that Candace just basically said, look, I asked Erika about these things, and she was not truthful. And that's what caused Candace to shift on Erika. And then but it was more than that, because there's a lot of us out here that are then just beginning to notice, like, oh, well, then you go back and look at like some of the more performative things that maybe made people uncomfortable at the time, but were giving her the benefit of the doubt, like her recording herself over Charlie's casket. There's the situation that came out with Erika talking inappropriately to the 15-year-old girl that she was looking to, I mean, maybe you would say groom to become a model. You know, that's I think the most charitable interpretation of that exchange. But you have a lot of this kind of behavior, and then ultimately what flipped it for me was a lot of like the political and cultural agenda items that, like, you have Turning Point USA led by Erika Kirk getting community noted, trying to put a video out of Charlie Kirk saying that he wants to make Iran Western again. He wanted regime change war in Iran as the war started breaking out. They put out some anti-Thomas Massey posts that they were community noted on. Like, you have a lot of these, you know, it's kind of just been Zionist business as usual. Like, there was no like acknowledgement. We know that Charlie's friends in the media that are known as Zionists were making his life a living hell in the last months of his life. Erika was there experiencing all of it firsthand. And instead of, like, you know, burning bridges with those donors that made Charlie's life a living hell or those media personalities, we instead have the only text messages that Erika seems to want to release are the ones justifying Ben Shapiro that she leaked to Graham Allen for his appearance at AmFest. So there's a lot of these things that have just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, kind of after the fact, as time has goes on, as it has related to her, especially leadership and her political and cultural agenda at Turning Point USA, that has just caused me to go back and be like, you know what? Like, you know what? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. And look, like, I haven't even gone as far as some other people have. But in any case, like, that's kind of been my development with this whole, I guess you would say, issue and criticism that I have of Erika Kirk. And I'm curious as to how that all played out for you.
It's very similar. And also, I also started with benefit of a doubt. You know, maybe she's on something. Maybe she's acting weird because, you know, she's drugged out, because she can't, you know, physically lift that grief. And so I didn't want to be very judgmental. I did do a video on her performative speeches, because that was just something else. I have never seen anything like that. And nothing ever gave me that type of feeling, because we've seen grief. You know why this backlash is happening, why people are so weirded out. And all this is happening because everyone, you know, experienced some level of grief, or at least knows someone who went through something like that. I have never seen anyone dealing with it like that. And we also saw celebrities, right? Celebrities go through grief. They lose husbands, they lose wives, they lose children. There are influencers that lost kids. There was recently Emily Kaiser that had this horrific accident that she lost a child to drowning at her house. And she gave an interview, and it didn't give me those feelings like Erika Kirk gave me. So there is something wrong with that. When there is such a massive amount of people experiencing the same icky feeling in their guts, there must be something, right? So I think I'm not going to say naive, but I have empathy, and I have so much empathy in me that until today, I listen to her speeches. I go into, let's say I see a new video of Erika Kirk, and I'm like, okay, we're going with a fresh mind, you know, that's it. We're just going to listen. We listen and we don't judge. Yeah, the TikTok challenge. So, and it gives me every time the same feeling. I am trying to have empathy for her, because I would hate if I was on the wrong side of history, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody is going in, at least honest people, they are not here for money. They are not here, I don't know, for clout, whatever. We're here for the truth. So I would hate to be on the wrong side of truth. But every time I hear her voice, every time I see the news coming out of it, every time there is a new clue, new lead, new thing popping up in research, I just get reassured that I am right now on the right side. And it kind of became like the right side is Candace's side and the wrong side is Erika's side. It's not like that. It's not even like that, because I see comments of people who go, I don't listen to Candace, I can't stand Candace, but Erika is weird. And it's just all weird. And I don't trust her and I don't trust TPUSA. And they had something to do with it. So there are people that are truly in the middle. They don't listen to anybody. They form their own opinion just based off vibes. Okay. And there's just vibes are not vibing with that person. And of course, you know, it's very surface level, the vibes thing, because we do research. We know so much now after 9 months, but only going off her voice and the performative attitude and the things that she's saying, it's just, we can't trust it. I don't know. I can't. I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation with regard to, I like how you bring up the fact that, look, like not everybody has to be some, you know, big fan or supporter of Candace Owens to recognize just what you're seeing with your own eyes. Like everybody always likes to say like, oh, you only think this because Candace Owens is saying these things. And it's just like, well, I think people just can observe things with their own eyes and come to their own conclusions. And as it just so happens, there's many people that are just like, look, this isn't it. Like, this isn't it. And then there's something weird about it. So again, and I've said this before, like I question myself, like I'll question myself, like, okay, I want my platform and I want what I'm here doing to be of the truth. And I want it to be of love and I want it to be life-giving. I don't want what I do or how I present myself to tear down the world or tear down others. I don't want to be of death. I don't want to be anti-life, essentially. So I'll question myself and I'll be like, look, is my criticism of Erika Kirk, like my conscience will cause me to ask, like, is my criticism of Erika or is my skepticism of Erika, like, is it wrong? Like, I feel like I'm asking myself this a lot, but there is an aspect of me that's like, that's like, I don't want to be naive and I don't want to be taken for granted. I know that these political leaders and these cultural influencers, they lie to us constantly. They feel as though they're not held by the same standards that we as the everyday people, I say American people, but people of the world, like this is a worldwide issue where we have this, you know, elitist class that are the overlords of just kind of the everyday working class people, of which I would certainly consider myself. I mean, most of us here, that's who we are. Like, that's what we are. So I don't want to be naive and I don't want to be taken advantage of and I don't want to be stomped on like we have been really throughout human history. Like this is a human history problem. So when I see these things that just don't add up for me, like I feel as though I have to say something. And I hate when people say, like, one of my biggest pet peeves is people being like, you can't be a Christian and ask these questions. Like, how dare you, like, to have my Christian faith called out because I don't feel right or I feel skeptical about this whole thing, this whole Charlie Kirk investigation, the political agenda of Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA. Like, I feel as though, like, from a Christian perspective, I certainly, like, being a Christian doesn't mean like, oh, you just roll over and just be kind to everybody regardless of what they stand for. It's like, no, it actually means aligning and standing for the truth. That's actually truly what it means. It means aligning yourself with reality. It doesn't just mean be nice to everybody because Jesus was some like hippie person that said you have to be nice to everybody. It's like, no, that's not it. So that probably, like, that phrase, like, what kind of Christian are you to attack? How evil are you to attack Erika Kirk? That literally right there is probably what drives me the most insane regarding this whole situation.
And, you know, it's hard to not feel taken for a ride because I noticed a pattern with her appearances, with her social media posts, with everything she does. It seems really, really strategic from the very, very, very start. So when, you know, Charlie was assassinated, the first view of Erika that we had, it was her hanging out of that car, with his medallion, which was crazy decision in my view, for her to literally roll out the window and be like Queen Diana, Princess Diana or Queen Elizabeth, you know, waving at people as if Anyway, so that was the first thing that I saw and was like, this is like kind of strategy. This is like introduction of Erika. She's like with the people, for the people. Hello. A day later, she's on camera already and she's speaking and she's like, she starts, I'm Charlie Kirk's wife, or she says, Charlie Kirk is my husband. And then she goes on with TPUSA pitch, okay, sales pitch. So then I noticed every time she was in hot water, she would take to social media and post something that would maybe score her some sympathy points. It was every time, for example, Candice said something, she revealed a new information about her. She's posting her mom, that she's really sick, in this very horrific videos of her mom. Honestly, I have no idea how she went and posted it. It's just so, I don't know. I believe, her mom is really sick. I don't know if she realizes that she has her videos on social media right now in this state, shaking, and it's just, I don't know, it's stripping her of her dignity. That's how I see it.
Well, and then same thing with her not filming herself, but I mean, I think Candice said this to a post that I put up. Like, I put up a post on X that went pretty viral where I said it was of Erika filming herself, or having Stacey Sheridan, because that's what Candice revealed, filming her crying over Charlie's casket and his corpse. And I was like, look, if something happens to me and my wife is doing this to score a social media moment, I give you all permission to criticize her for it. like
and investigate her.
Right?
Something is wrong.
Right? Like, maybe, and then maybe take a look and just make sure, everything's clear here. But like, you're 100% right. It's the emotional gaslighting, because that's precisely what it is. It's this emotional gaslighting that is being done to score social media points and to create these viral moments around Erika Kirk. And then you have this positioning that, look, Erika's not just some grieving widow. Like, that's not all she is. What they're doing is they're trying to use all of these moments to position her as this Princess Diana, this major political figure. That's what we're seeing here. And there are a lot of people that have a problem with that.
What an asset to create a person in politics that you are not allowed to criticize no matter what. Imagine that strategy. How crazy is that? You're not allowed to say anything wrong about her because she's a widow. Okay, probably, we're looking at people who are widows, who are widowers, who lost children, who lost pets, who lost parents, they've been raised in poverty, whatever. Everyone has stuff to deal with. Everyone has been through something. But when you come to work, you're a worker, okay? You're being judged by your skill. And this is something that I spoke on my channel recently about, that if she was, let's say, coming to TPUSA to interview for the job of CEO, what questions would they ask her? How would the interview go? And what would she answer? And that got me thinking. I'm like, is she truly qualified? Because every time we're discussing her as CEO, it's like, well, I got a blueprint from Charlie. Charlie told me everything. I know exactly what to do. Okay, what is it? How about some details? How about some 5-year plan? And she even said, she's like, I don't have a 5-year plan. I live day by day because I'm dealing with grief. Okay, then maybe take a break until you're able to do a 5-year plan, until you're able to answer those simple questions. Because any CEO from the street taken now into TPUSA, first thing, strategy, and they did name her the emotional asset, right? She's the emotional asset. And the most recent proof of it is when Candice spoke about on her show about Charlie's parents. So someone asked her, oh, they should be interviewed. Can you score an interview with them? Can you ask them about Erika? So Candice said, well, they've been always really, really private. That's fine. She knows them. That's how they live. So no way they will speak out. But she would love to find out what they truly think about Erika. And she even insinuated that she has some connection in his family that are in contact with her. So maybe they can tell her. It's like, invited them to contact her about it. So the next thing we know, the next day, she has her podcast, the Bible 365, the Proclaim thing. And it's the first time in 9 months she brings up Charlie's parents, how they love her. She's like, they texted me yesterday and they said, we're so proud of you. We're so proud of you. you know? So that's the first time she's mentioning them. What a coincidence. Again, so that's why I'm saying, that's why I can't take her seriously and I can't feel true empathy to her, because it seems that every time she speaks, it's a part of some kind of bigger strategy and plot to accomplish something, their agenda. That's how I feel. I cannot feel different.
So based on your observation, and I love, you've been pretty heavy in the weeds and the details of kind of observing these behavioral patterns of Erika Kirk from the very beginning. That's interesting. So what you observed was that she was getting pushback, or people were questioning what Charlie's family or Charlie's parents think. And then the next thing that we know, she's doing a public appearance and she's addressing that
Yes.
issue or that question.
Yes, and I've noticed it time and time again. Every time someone mentions something, she will go on and talk about it, but she will not directly. She's not addressing that person. So she wouldn't go out there and say, oh, I saw yesterday, or someone told me that Candace mentioned Charlie's parents, and someone is wondering, how is our relationship? You see how normal people speak like that. Normal people address issues like that. Okay, someone told me, you guys want to know. We are in great relationship. They love me. I love them. I'm there every week with the kids, whatever. That's how normal people talk. They don't go on a podcast and go, they're amazing. It's her mom's birthday today. It's his mom's birthday today. And they texted me yesterday saying, we're so proud of you. So it's like this indirect, it's always like backhanded. It's always like, we have to figure it out. I don't like that. The people like that are not trustworthy normally, that are not straightforward, speaking like humans.
Yeah, that's good. So I have a clip from that Proclaim podcast that I know that you had shared. I want to play this because what I need is your help. I need to understand, like, I don't think that maybe my perspective or interpretations of Erika's emotions are as finely tuned as yours. So I want to play this clip and then we can talk about it together. I'll give you my take, and I'm giving you the opportunity here on my show, on the Zach Costello Show, to tear apart my take on this. All right?
Okay.
Let's bring it up.
I have been married for 10 years. My husband is a hardworking farmer who has gone a lot. A year ago, I was questioning my marriage and felt like I was losing myself in the chaotic life of work and motherhood. Since finding a church, I recently got baptized. My kids attend Sunday school, and we talk about Jesus in our home daily. Instead of nagging my husband, I embrace his hard work.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You better finish reading it, sweetheart. Let me finish reading it.
I love him like a wife should when he comes home. Instead of losing myself to motherhood, I've completely embraced every second of it, never wanting my precious babies to grow up. It seems like the more I pour myself into my daily readings, church, and family, the devil shows his face more than I have ever witnessed. Why does it seem like the closer you get to God, the harder the devil works on you?
Yeah. Look, for those of you that can't see, and I have the blessing and the benefit of knowing Erika and Charlie so well that I know exactly why Erika's in tears,
Okay. So when I first saw this, admittedly, I was like, man, like I feel bad for her. Maybe it's bringing up memories of, of Charlie coming home and her trying to be a good wife. And she was sad. Like, I was like, all right, like, damn, like I feel bad for her. My take from that, this was my take from that. My take was I feel like that pastor was like forcing that upon her. Like, they were like, you're going to read this. They wanted to like drum up some emotion from her for PR. Like, I have this theory that I've floated out before that, like, we have Johnny Moore with Kairos Company. We have Andrew Kolvet. We have these certain individuals that are making sure that Erika puts forth like this certain PR perspective. So like, it's just weird to me that like she's there like trying to read this, and like this pastor's like, keep going, read it, Erika. Like, and she's just like upset. I don't know. But like, I know that you might have a different take with regard to her emotions. I see some of you guys in the chat that don't buy it, but I'm curious as to your thoughts on that.
So because I saw the whole thing and she spoke quite a lot on that podcast, I've noticed one thing that kept happening. She was ignoring completely what he was saying. So she would, it was as if she was speaking off the script, or she was trying to remember what she was going to say, like she prepared herself. So she kept talking. He would interrupt, and he would try to make it into a conversation, and she would like ignore him, and she was like, ugh, continue with the script. I wish I prepared some examples for you, but if you guys watch it, it keeps happening. So then I went back to this clip, and it had the same feeling to me. Like she, you know, the script was that she starts crying, and, you know, she had to make sure to move her face into the mic to do, you know, so everyone, even the listeners, know that she's crying at the moment. Sorry, I might be very cynical reading into that situation, but that's what it looks like to me. And so then this pastor, who I'm not a fond of anyway, but he goes, do you want me to read that for you, sweetheart? Might have been scripted, might have been not. But again, she doesn't react to it. She just continues reading as if he didn't say anything, as if like, no, that's not in the script. I continue reading, you know? So that's how I see it. I see it again as performative. And I've noticed that with her speeches as well, that she loses the plot. When she doesn't have a script, she gets very lost. This is what I've noticed. And she would be like repeating the same sentence and then looking into her nose, and it's like a mini panic heart attack. And then she continues. And I think I might do a video about it because of all those moments that I've noticed. And every time she does it, she mentions as well, like, oh, I'm sorry, it's so hard, because suddenly she forgot her script. So she forgot her line. So she goes, oh, sorry, it's just so hard. What's hard? Okay. So I read it a little bit differently. I feel like she's calling the shots here, not the pastor, because of how it was during the whole interview.
Interesting. Well, and I think that that's important. That's very important that you offer that perspective, because that clip that I just shared is the one that went viral. And that's the one that especially opponents are like, you know, because she mentions why does the devil attack you harder when things get harder? And people are like, she's talking about Candace Owens, and they use that clip to basically emotionally gaslight and then let everybody know, like, this is what Candace Owens is doing to Erika, right? But for someone like you're there watching the entire thing, taking the entire thing in context, and that allows you and others to kind of see through that emotional manipulation that's being done on everybody.
Yeah. Look, another thing that could happen, someone like this pastor could have been speaking with her before, and then maybe they manufactured that letter. That was the topic that they wanted her to read, because maybe they were hoping that she will break down in tears, like you said, because she's that emotional asset, right? We want Erika crying on camera because that's how we score sympathy points, and that's how we keep going with TPUSA, because as long as people feel sorry for Erika Kirk, we're good, you know? What happens? My question is, what happens when the widow thing expires? Okay, I'm not saying grief expires. It never does. And I'm not trying to take away, because maybe she is grieving, okay? That's why I never want to say something like, oh, she has no feelings about it, she doesn't care. I don't know what happened, what's happening in her head. Maybe she's just really bad at being human. I don't know. But I just
maybe she's really bad at being human.
I never saw her speaking like a human being. Can you imagine just her sitting here with us having that type of conversation and just being straightforward with things? It's never like that. Anytime, and I've noticed that even with Charlie, when they had that appearance, I think it was on last year's Women's Leadership Summit, Young Women Leadership Summit, when they had this little spot on stage, when he was like, well, if you just want to talk happy thoughts, cool. Her answer is like, God is good. It's never something real. And I'm not saying God is real and it's not real, but like continue the conversation, continue the topic. Let's get to some kind of conclusion. But she will quote the scripture and she will completely get off topic. We will not continue that. And that has been her strategy everywhere. I saw her speeches, her interviews, her podcast. Anytime is just quoting the scripture whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, it's always some scripted kind of inspirational or scriptural platitude that she'll refer to. Like it's never real. It's never authentic.
Yeah.
PR advice for Erika, which she'll never take, but it's like, go on a podcast unscripted and just have a 2 to 3 hour conversation. Like people don't understand. Like this is why I use Kamala Harris as an example. I mean, her and the comparison to Kamala Harris is fairly accurate with regard to her the way she behaves politically. I mean, the problem with Kamala Harris was that people just never believed she was authentic or she couldn't talk off script. I mean, at least what President Trump had going for him is that he could just go and chat and be like kind of a real dude. And people were like, you know what? I think I heard somebody say, I think it was Tim Dillon, like, we knew President Trump was a jerk. We knew he was an asshole. We knew he was kind of a scumbag, but at least he was himself. And he was kind of just like, you know what? Like, we're going to leverage this narcissism and this asshole for the American people. Like, we know what we're getting here. The problem that Americans are so sick and tired of is just these inauthentic, scripted, non-real people. And the problem is that Turning Point USA, and Charlie wasn't this way at all. Charlie was one that I'm going to go out and I'm just going to have unscripted conversations off the cuff with people. The problem that Turning Point USA has is that they've gone back to this kind of traditional mainstream media, political spin type of PR strategy that the everyday American people just are not buying. And that's what they're doing with Erika Kirk. Like, we don't want scripted. Like, we don't want perfection. We don't want these stupid inspirational platitudes. Like, we want you to be a real freaking person. And I think that's her biggest, it's one of her biggest problems right now.
Yeah, I think Charlie spoiled us, because he would welcome conversations with people that disagreed with him. And this is something they claimed they wanted to cultivate, right? Like Charlie's mission, freedom of speech that they're so proud of. And anybody that has a question, anybody that disagrees, come forward, and state your whatever you think. It's not like that. It's just a talk. And that's what people are starting to see as well, that this is all an act. What happens when suddenly, people will get tired of the Grieving Widow Act and they will actually start looking at her as CEO and they will start expecting her to actually do something, to actually direct that business somewhere, to take part in elections, not only saying, oh yeah, great, our team and the ballots and whatever. No, but what do you think? It is so cringe, I'm sorry, of her to start posting right now on X some political opinions all of a sudden. I don't know, did you see it? It drives me insane. Every time I see it, it's like, girl, not yet. I don't know when, but not yet.
Every single one of them it just rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, look, like you're just trying so hard to be politically relevant, and it's like,
your comment on the UFC one was so good. If you can bring it up and read it to everyone, because maybe your subscribers don't have X, but that was so good. And I saw Lionel Nation as well shared it. And Candace, you just
she did
hit the nail on the head, man.
Candace has been sharing a lot of my posts on X. She's a fan. She's a fan of the Zach Costello Show. She's a fan of yours. She's a fan of yours. I know that she is. She has said that before. Let me pull that up, because I think that's good and relevant here. Let me find it here. Let me share my screen.
Get my the way you voiced it, it was like taken out of my brain. And put out there.
Oh, it says remove other. I can't. Gosh darn it! I can't share it without removing you from the screen, and I don't want to do that. But
Okay, I can maybe just read it. Can you read it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll read it. So what Erika said, you know what? I can screenshot it and pull it in. Why don't I do that? So basically, for you guys that don't know, Erika put out a post on her X feed regarding the UFC event at the White House, and she was referring to it as this amazing event of the people. And I took issue with that. And this is that post. And then this is what I said here. Let's get that off, and then let's get this on. All right, so Erika put out this post. She said, the left wants the White House to feel like an untouchable institution reserved for political elites. They hate seeing it used for events that remind Americans that it belongs to them, turning the White House into a place of celebration, culture, and the public, whatever. And she goes on. But basically, it's like this was an event of the people. This is so special.
Yes.
The left never did this. And
White House is for the people now. Everyone sees it. Yes.
And the reality was this UFC event that they hosted at the White House, guys, there were 4,300 seats. And this is what I said at the event. And they were all invite only by the administration. VIP ticket packages were upwards of $1.5 million each. The general public only got to watch this event on big screen TVs. And I just said I wouldn't say that this event reminded the people that the White House belonged to them. But again, this is just one example of many of her just coming out with trying to be politically relevant that I think just a lot of people have a problem with. And I'll just kind of, to piggyback on something that you said with regard to her trying to be politically relevant. You have Turning Point USA, which was an extremely powerful and influential organization, especially under Charlie and especially for America's young people. I mean, we talked about it at the outset. Like Charlie was that type of influential force politically and culturally speaking. He was in the White House advising President Trump on what the American public and how they would perceive a regime change war in Iran. And this actually prevented President Trump from engaging in such a war. That's the type of political influence that he had.
We had no idea. We had no idea.
We had no clue. Do you think that Erika is not doing that? She's simply just a harmless mouthpiece now. And that's what Turning Point USA has become. People are like, oh, Zach, you shouldn't criticize what Charlie Kirk, he wouldn't be out here criticizing President Trump. He said he trusted everything that President Trump did and was doing. Well, first of all, Charlie Kirk was extremely outspoken against the regime change war in Iran. He was extremely outspoken against the E-files. He was extremely outspoken against the elites and how they run this world order. The thing is that no, I don't think the thing is that I think Charlie Kirk was influential in the ear of President Trump. Therefore, these decisions that we've seen being made since Charlie Kirk was eliminated or killed, he wouldn't have made because he actually had influence and sway with President Trump. So no, I don't think you can just say oh, Charlie Kirk would trust what President Trump's doing here. I think Charlie Kirk actually would have had influence on President Trump actually making different decisions. President Trump,
Very good point.
Excuse me. He's been pretty heavily influenced by this lobby, this Zionist lobby that has a lot of political and influential sway in American government and the body politic and American media. They definitely do. Charlie Kirk was actually a barrier to that echo chamber for President Trump. And he was actually a voice that stood in President Trump's ear as a barrier to this echo chamber, to these warmongers beating the war drums in DC that Charlie Kirk specifically referred to and went after while he was alive. But for them to come out and say oh, Charlie was a shill, he would never push back on President Trump. That's absolutely ridiculous. They act like his legacy is he didn't have a mind of his own and he would just shill for President Trump. But that's what we see from Erika. That's all we see from Erika. We don't have this powerful political force. We just don't. And honestly, for me as a man, to see this political leader that she's supposed to be, this cultural leader that she's supposed to be, just out here kind of crying and emotionally gaslighting people. For me, that's not what I'm looking for. That doesn't really inspire me. So I'm really not interested. to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they are using her superpower is crying, the emotional thing, and they are hoping they can ride on it. Did you see that they are trying to soft launch Andrew Kolvet as their influencer?
Oh,
I
well,
don't know if you had a chance to see it.
and I know that you've been covering that, and
I
and
did.
and I started to too. Like there was a few weeks ago where we caught.
I'm quoting you in my today's video,
Oh,
actually.
did
I'm
you?
quoting
Okay.
your tweet. You have very good tweets, okay? I agree with Ken.
Thank you. But yes, what they started doing was they started leveraging the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel for Andrew Kolvet. Like they have him collaborating all the videos now. They've got they've got his channel as a featured channel on the Charlie Kirk Show channel. And then I know that you observed they're doing the same thing on Instagram.
Yes, yes, they're doing. The Instagram thing was terrible. He literally posted a video in collaboration with Charlie Kirk account, and the Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you guys have social media, whatever, but Charlie Kirk's channels, like the X channel, the Instagram account, they were his private ones. It wasn't the company channel. You know how sometimes you, as a CEO, you have TPUSA channel and you're using that for. No, he was using his own private social media channels for spreading his message. So now every time they are using those channels, they are using Dead Man's social media channels to leverage themselves. So they want to get more engagement, they want to get more views, they want to get more followers. They're doing the posts with collaboration with the Charlie Kirk private social media channels. And that's what Andrew Kolvet is doing. People didn't, oh my God, the comments on this, he was forced to remove that tag. He was forced to remove the Charlie Kirk channel from his videos because there was not one positive comment. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments bashing him, telling him, how can you do this? Using your dead best friend's channel to grow your own influence. Like, it's insane. Then I had a comment today on a video, one girl. That's why I love reading comments on my videos, because they always give me like a different perspective. And she said, maybe what they're trying to do is slowly fade out Charlie's channels, not to like slowly stop using them. And that's why they're trying to grow Andrew's channels, okay, while simultaneously, you know, like a soft shift.
Yeah.
But I'm like, then again, why not to come out and say it? Why not to be like, look, guys, you know, Charlie, we love him. We want to remember him. We want to always honor him. But we kind of started feeling that it's not right to forever use his name. And we are trying to try something different. We're going to try and use Andrew's social media channel, follow him. You know, he's going to do some great new content for you guys. So make sure to like, subscribe, whatever. How different would that be? You know,
I mean, you're right. They botch every single PR move that they make. They could just be honest and upfront. Be like, look, like you could even say this. Look, Charlie Kirk and Andrew Kolvet co-owned the media company that owns the Charlie Kirk Show. We don't have Charlie here anymore. Andrew is going to do his best to carry this on. And this is what we're doing. Like, they could easily just say that. People would be like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Like, we're gonna transition away from Charlie being the feature. We're gonna use Charlie Kirk's channel as more of a legacy account. We can put his past debates there. We can put the things that he said, but we're not gonna try to comment on current events from the Charlie Kirk channel. Like, that's not what we're gonna leverage it for. Which Blake Neff and Andrew Kolvet are doing right now. What we're going to do is we're going to start to transition over to this. Like, we obviously need to continue this media arm of this Turning Point USA organization. So we're going to continue this, but obviously Charlie's not here. So this is our plan and this is our strategy. And we feel as though Andrew is in a good position to do this because he did this media stuff with Charlie day in and day out. Now, I would disagree that Andrew Kolvet is actually a good option.
That's a different story.
That's a different story. I don't think Blake Neff is a good option. Here's the thing. Those guys starting their own platform, starting their own channel, I don't think they have it. I don't think they have it. If you look at the numbers, the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel's got 7+ million subscribers. Those guys can't pull more than 10,000 views on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's
You know YouTube numbers. That's bad. That's really bad.
it's bad, and I don't know how long they can keep going with this. Like I said, just a bit of honesty. That's all that we're asking for about Charlie, about their strategy, about their channels, about whatever they do. Just be honest, just be upfront, just be normal people. Just be normal people. The
100%.
way they talk, one time I said it because we've noticed that with my husband. They talk like they're in some kind of Shakespearean play all the time. They use words and they use sentences as if they know that one day this is going to be a movie, so they want to make sure there is a good quote. They sound smart, they sound above and beyond. Always. There is not one normal conversation that I heard from these people. I don't know. Do you have the same impression? Because we're talking normally. Everyone who I talk about, Candice talks normally.
Mhm.
She's on a podcast. She talks for an hour and she sounds like a real person. She sounds like someone who has life outside of her podcast, who has kids, who goes to church, who, has outside interests. They sound like that's it. They came for an improv class, and they need to sound like they're from Middle Ages or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, I think that's a very interesting and important observation. You have, and this all just comes down to the authenticity that we as modern people are really looking for, like modern everyday citizens of America and of the world. Like, we are sick and tired of the fake, inauthentic spin that we're constantly given by politicians, by celebrities. Like, what we actually relate to most are just people that are freaking real. Like, just real people that are going through real events in their life. Like, we're not looking for some polished, perfect, fake, inspirational platitudes. Like, those things don't work anymore. They don't work anymore. And they for some reason, it's because none of them made it. None of them have done it on their own. They are all piggybacking off of Charlie Kirk's influence and what he built. He is the mover. He is the one that built those channels from scratch. He's the one that was truly influential. And the problem is, none of them have ever been able to do that on their own. So they don't know. They think they have to act. They think they have to act in a certain way.
Yeah, I think it's also coming from Erika. I think the instructions are coming from up, because just let's take the Instagram channel of Andrew Kolvet. This wasn't his idea. Maybe the idea was his, but someone had to approve it. And we know that the usage of Charlie Kirk social media channels was approved by Erika Kirk. She said it on a podcast, on a Charlie Kirk podcast. She's like, we're going to do it. We're not going to be cringe about it. We're not going to be morbidly weird, or however she said.
We're not going to speak in Charlie's name because that would be morbidly off. That's precisely
there you go. Yes, very good. So that's the exact quote. So now that this happened, she approved it. And that's what weirded me out even more. She's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Just tag my husband and try to get some more followers. Everything is just so weird. It's not normal. Nothing is normal. And that's why we're getting so frustrated. And that's why it keeps being a subject of our videos, of our investigation, of our research, because there's always something. They don't sound like people. They don't act like real people. And then we are being gaslit that we're not good Christians because we notice, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a good segue into this next clip that I want you to comment on. And I know you've seen this before, but Riley Gaines, who is known for her racing of the transgender male on her swim team in college, she was on, I hate to refer to her this way, but Stephen Miller's wife's podcast. I don't know exactly what her name is, but in any case, this is what she had to say about those who have an issue here with Erika Kirk. Let's take a listen to this.
I think the fracture that we've seen in the right, especially following Charlie Kirk's assassination, number one, it highlighted how he really was like glue. Like, he was like kind of the connecting fibers of the conservative movement. And I think if you knew him, you've known that for years. Like, he was a coalition builder. I remember at the RNC prior to the election in 2024, like in July or so, it was right after President Trump had the assassination attempt one of many now on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania, and watching Charlie behind the scenes coordinate some of the speakers who were there. He was very involved in people like Amber Rose and some of the other unlikely figures who you just wouldn't expect at an RNC convention. A lot of that was Charlie. So I think in witnessing the fracture that we've seen following his assassination, it proved that he really was the glue, and also that without that sort of glue, the bad actors really come to light. And I think we've seen a lot of that. And it's horrible. The treatment that his bride, his widow, has received is detestable. Like, I think it's a condemnation of humanity to see people who sit behind a screen and can so easily mock Erika, who I believe displayed one of the most beautiful acts of God's love and forgiveness in forgiving her husband's assassin, like 10, 11 days at that memorial service after he had been murdered. Like, that is God's strength. Only through God can a grieving widow do that. And so to see people who can't understand what that is like so easily mock her, I just think it's a condemnation of humanity, really.
Woo.
His bride.
Well, what annoys me about that is, like, of course, it's the evil ones that have emerged from the woodwork are anybody that has been critical of Erika Kirk. Like, that certainly annoys me from that clip. But then also, too, to hear her say, with regard to Erika forgiving Tyler Robinson at the memorial, and to say that can only come from God. I mean, look, I agree that perspective can certainly come from God, but that perspective can also certainly come from someone who is acting like they are in tune with God. So again, I think I understand the perspective of what she's trying to do there, but I think there's also a side that has seen a lot of these other things and has been observant of some of these other things that are just like, well, it could also be an act. And I think that at this point in our history, like, we as the people know they are not above doing these types of things.
I have very big problem with the forgiveness part. I remember when I saw it first time, I didn't believe it. I thought it was an act. The reason I thought it was an act, first of all, she had to look down again at the paper and make sure, I forgive him. So that it wasn't a spur of the moment. It wasn't her being filled with Holy Spirit and God and goodness and angels. No, it was, she wrote it down and it was performative. And I have problem with people who don't see it. To me, people who think that was not an act and also a correct thing to say at that time, I don't think it was a time and place. It was 11 days later. There wasn't even all the evidence collected against Tyler Robinson. Okay, you cannot go ahead and forgive someone who didn't stand the trial yet, who wasn't convicted of anything. Nobody proved anything yet, and you're there planting that seed. You know, she keeps talking about how do you call it? Tampering with jury? No. How is it?
It's
staining jury pool. Yeah.
Staining the jury pool. Yes.
Yes. So she keeps talking about it. That side, TPUSA guys, keep talking about it, that we are going to do that. Okay. But what about them? Literally 10, 11 days later, they're like, he's guilty. We forgive him. Yeah. Okay. On what basis? On what basis?
You have people that were there that have a gag order on them. They're not supposed to talk about the trial at all. Blake Neff being that person, just saying, and he's the loudest. And he's the loudest, basically saying that straight up, Tyler Robinson is guilty. Like, here in America, where you're innocent until proven guilty, we have someone who was there who's not supposed to be talking about it, saying that he is guilty, and that certainly is tainting the jury pool. There's no question about that. Like, there's no question about it. Like, when you have all these people out there saying, like, oh, this is definite, he is definitely guilty, that's a major problem. It's a major problem. And that is, in fact, what most people, the trial lawyers, the prosecution team, but the defense team is very concerned that the jury pool is going to be tainted because of what actually that side, the side that says that Tyler Robinson is automatically guilty. That's what they're saying about it.
Yeah. Plus, I wouldn't take what Riley is saying seriously. Did you see that video of her where she's like, so what are my talking points? What do I believe in? Do you want to tell me? And she's like, okay, I'm against abortion. What else? And she's like, she's being fed her lines. And this is exactly, I can see the talking points. I really want to know what was the question that she was answering, because she went through all the talking points in that answer. She went from how Charlie was the glue, and then she ended up at, we're the evil ones because we're criticizing the widow. So she went through the talking points. I can tell for sure, I will bet, okay? I can bet that she sat again before that interview and she's like, okay, so what am I supposed to say about Erika? What am I supposed to say about Charlie? Okay. And she made sure she squeezed it into that answer. Okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
She hit the check. She hit the check boxes of the talking.
I can relax now. Yeah.
And I have this issue, especially as I engage in conversations with people that are just kind of unwavering supporters of whether it be whoever's, whether it be the MAGA mouthpieces of President Trump, he can do no wrong, or the Erika Kirks and the Turning Point USAs, and the most just real and based people that I know that are like that are truly like the happiest people that I know, that have good families, that have lives outside of media, just like real people. They all don't fall for stuff like this. Like they all, like none of them are buying into this stuff. People are like, like it's off and it seems weird and I don't trust it. Like that just seems to be like what the normal person believes. It's the person that's just like, you must believe this, or how dare you, or like basically your Christian faith. Did you know, Kasia, did you know that the modern Christian theology is that you must accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? You must accept that Israel is the biblical Israel. The current modern nation state of Israel is the biblical Israel. And that Erika Kirk is the ever grieving widow that you're never supposed to criticize. Did you know that this is modern Christian theology?
Yes, I see it. I'm almost convinced by it, I'm like this close to falling for it. Yeah, it
next
seems
thing
so
we know,
real.
it's going to be added
good.
to the Nicene Creed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and he was conceived by the Holy Spirit, and Erika Kirk is the grieving widow that you must never criticize.
Yes. Well, I'm on to something new now, because today I saw Ali Files shared something on X. It's Robert McCoy saying that Charlie wanted him to create TPUSA Israel.
You are very intuitive. Let's bring that clip up because I had it prepared.
There you go.
And shout out to Ali Top Files for bringing this to everybody's attention. Let's watch this clip.
I'd asked Pastor Chris what he wanted me to talk about, what was on his heart, and there was a couple things he shared, and I'll get into that. But it's interesting that I've traveled extensively since Charlie's death. I became pastor emeritus at Godspeak July 1st of last year, and Charlie spoke at my gala. And Charlie's directive to me was he wanted me to go start Turning Point Israel, and so that was the plan when I stepped aside and let the assistant pastor take over the church that I pastored for 25 years. And then Charlie and I had a chance to be in Korea together 4 days before he was murdered. And we were in Korea, and he made a commitment to Pastor Son, who is a pastor of the largest church in Busan. And that government now had put him in prison. He was very outspoken. And it's fascinating because that country's in a lot of trouble right now. We lost 36,226 U.S. military personnel in the Korean War, and established the 38th parallel, where North Korea got all the farmland and the South got all the rocky coastline. But the South got something the North didn't, and that was freedom. They have the largest Christian population of any nation in Asia. A third of their population is Christian. And they went from the poorest nation on the face of the earth in 1948 to now having the 8th largest GDP. It's called the Korean miracle.
이제 말씀 마치면서 말할게요. Korea needs freedom. And the church is the soul of this nation. It's time to stand for truth regardless of the consequences.
한국은 이 자유가 필요합니다. 그리고 교회는 국가의 양심입니다. 그 대한민국을 지키기 위해서 기독교인들이 일어서야 합니다.
I love that he was trying to match the energy in a different level.
I didn't actually see the end of that clip before I had shared it here.
Me
but
neither. I was waiting now for the Korean guy to go. "Oh,
I know.
freedom."
Well, I had seen comments of like him with the freedom shirt, but I was like, what is that? So when I saw the very end of it, I was like, oh, that's what that is.
I'm surprised by it too.
But I mean, my goodness, of course, Charlie told Rob McCoy to start Turning Point Israel. Of course he did. Of course it was in the journals. It was in the journals right next to it was in the journals, and it was also in the speech where Charlie said that Erika will be CEO and she will do a great job.
Absolutely. It's the same. Probably there is a video of Charlie saying TPUSA Israel for the win. I know that there is a clip of him saying that he wanted some faith activities in Israel. But I know so far, nothing was found of him saying TPUSA Israel or TP Israel. I don't know how he would name it. But this is just, look, even if it's true, okay, let's entertain the idea that, let's say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he was like, Rob, we need TPUSA Israel. We have the UK version. Now we need the Israel version because we have so many donors, so much activity. It would be great to bridge the faith thing because it's the land of the Lord. I can see it, okay? It's not far-fetched of how Charlie, he was super supportive of Israel. Come on. However, to use it now, for it to come out now, when we know what we know, how his views were changing towards the end, that's manipulative. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that it just hits on this whole, especially as it relates to Turning Point USA Faith, and this is where I've been very outspoken in my own commentary, and where I find just this influence, I say politically, culturally, but also religiously. I see Turning Point USA Faith as this powerful mechanism to really spread this Christian Zionist message throughout America. The ties that I think are becoming more evident is that you just have more and more ties and connections. Turning Point USA, faith, pastors, leaders that are connected to, we now know, Israeli foreign agents like a Brad Parscale and Salem Media that are responsible for kind of leveraging these different Christian front organizations, these faith organizations, to garner up support for the nation state of Israel. And it's it's very hard for me to be okay with, like, you have this Make Heaven Crowded tour where you have a number of these different Zionist pastors just going around all of these different huge churches throughout the country, which are then also being geofenced by Israeli agents. Like, it's difficult for me to accept that this is something that's okay, because I consider Christian Zionism to be a false teaching. I understand, like, maybe Charlie and I had different beliefs as it relates to all of this, but this is one of those just examples of something that has come to light since Charlie Kirk died, which I find detrimental. And that's whether or not Charlie was alive or not. Like, I don't think that Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith should be spreading this Christian Zionist message throughout America, first and foremost, because I believe it to be false teaching, but then I also believe it leads to an imprudent relationship, as we've seen with a foreign nation state. And it causes us to make these decisions that are detrimental to America, detrimental to people's souls. But like a perfect example of this is just like, look, if you have millions and millions of people, if you have the majority of the American government that believes that God's blessing is dependent on them supporting this current nation state, that's going to lead to imprudent foreign policy. It's going to get us in trouble, like it just has. It's going to cause someone like you, specifically, who lives in another part of the world, to have to suffer from those extreme consequences that come from this political / religious philosophy. So I have a big
Mm-hmm.
problem with it. And what I see is I see this Erika Kirk and Andrew Kolvet led Turning Point USA being influential in that regard. And I certainly don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm. Look, the difference with Charlie, because he spoke about faith a lot. He spoke about God, about his personal faith, religious journey, and so on. He was never preachy about it. That's what I liked about. He would share his views. He would try and maybe convince you, or at least he offered new perspective, gave you something to think about, but it was never preachy. It was never like my way or the highway. It was never, you will go to hell if you don't believe the same thing as I do. You're not a real Christian if you don't believe exactly the same thing as I do. He simply wanted that conversation. He simply wanted to talk about what he believed in. And he had a great talent of merging politics and religion, because he truly believed in family, Christian family, and conservative values. To him, it was all merging into one.
Yes.
Now that he's not here, all we get is preaching. All we get is preaching constantly. And anyone who disagrees should feel bad, should, be scared of going to hell. So remember when at the Women's Leadership Summit, that girl started screaming, Erika protects pedophiles, Erika protects. What was Erika's answer? It was, I hope you will find happiness. Yeah, with that, happiness comes and goes, and I hope you find it, like with this. And then she literally threatened that girl that she should be scared of going to hell. Like the eternity is long, she goes. Eternity is long.
That impression was hilarious.
So
I hope you
Thank
find
you.
happiness. Well,
that was yeah.
Well, that's similar to her reaction. Well, first of all, that made me think of, remember the introduction that she had? Like it was like this, like kind of dark, like rock music, like Erika Kirk,
Yes.
blah, 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 right? But like, and then you have like, remember, like I did this again. This is the Kamala Harris comparison, but Kamala had like the joy cometh in the morning part, and then Erika had that, like, I find joy, I will find joy, be joyful, you better, I'm happy, be happy.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah, like fine, I'm happy, girl.
okay,
Just
I'm happy.
stop looking
I
at
promise,
me.
I'm happy.
Exactly. So it's that, Charlie was never doing that. You could disagree with Charlie. You could have been of different religion, different political views, but he was not preachy. He wasn't looking down at you. He wasn't making you feel bad for what you believe. Okay, it was a simple conversation. That's what he was looking for. Not the people at TPUSA now. It's either us or nothing.
Well, and it's just like, and he believed, and he believes what he believed. Like, he didn't try to pretend that, I think this is the whole thing. Like, he didn't try to pretend that he was something that he was not. It's like, look, it's okay. Like, if you believe in something we disagree with, it's fine. But
yeah, just
don't gaslight us and pretend that, like, that you're some person of like just all knowing truth. Like, we don't want that. Like, it's like, look, we disagree, and that's fine. Like, just be real, just be yourself. And I think that's a consistent theme that we keep hitting on with regard to just this desire for authenticity that they just do not have, and they can't seem to get outside of themselves to realize what everybody is saying. They exist in an echo chamber. They only listen to people that agree with them, and even those people, so like even who you would say are our opponents, like mine and yours in this media space, they would say that, oh, like most of Candace's supporters are bots, or most of these people that disagree with Trump, like, it's not real, it doesn't really exist. And it's like, look, you can continue to tell yourself that it's all fake, but the reality is, and it's going to hit them eventually. It's just going to hit them eventually. The reality is that the majority of people are just sick and tired of a lot of this stuff. And that's why, like, what Candace Owens is doing is popular. That's why she's won over a bunch of fans. I've talked about this before. Like, I always enjoyed Candace. I never had a real issue with Candace. The only sticking point that I feel like I kind of had with Candace was that, I kind of came up on some of the original Jordan Peterson content. I was a big fan of Jordan Peterson. He's had a big impact on me. So when she kind of started going at him with some of the Zionist stuff, like I wasn't fully won over on some of the kind of Zionist stuff yet. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, how dare she go after Jordan Peterson? I mean, I hate to say it, but she's kind of turned out to be right about a lot of that stuff. Like
this
Jordan
is the thing about Candace. They call her crazy until they have to agree with her.
And then you got it. Yeah, right. There have been a few times where I've been like, all right, Candace, like, I'm sorry I've doubted you and I owe you an apology, right? But like,
yeah,
I mean, but when it all comes down to it, like I ultimately have become, I've become a supporter and I've become a fan of what Candace is doing out in the political and cultural arena. I think that she's grown from just kind of a cultural and political commentator to more of a political force. I was talking to Lionel about this. Like she's kind of leveled up here with this whole Charlie Kirk investigation.
She created new niche of podcast.
She did.
She created new niche of podcast. She's doing
that's
real-time criminal investigation. We haven't had that yet. It's literally in real time. Imagine if they had it when JFK happened. Imagine if they had it then, social media and like all these people looking into it. I always say that our subscribers, because a lot of them, I will say it again and again and again. I cannot believe that we have group of people following us and watching our videos and being so crazy supportive. It's just amazing. When I hit recently 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, people were genuinely happy for me. They were celebrating with me. I couldn't believe it's happening. Like this community is just on another level. And what's happening now? It's just because you mentioned that anytime someone stands up for Candace, we're being called bots and like it's fake. It happens the same the other way around. Okay, we call them Israel shills. Yeah, that's what we do. Or like
Fair
you're
enough.
paid by Israel. And
Fair enough.
I like to be fair. Okay, so it's both ways, and I see it because I've noticed that it's the thing about Americans. Okay, you guys are much more willing to die on a hill than we do, for real. Like I also there were a few instances that I would disagree with Candace, and I would like explore maybe, like for example, the exploding mic theory.
Yeah.
I am on board with exploring it. Okay, I am on board with discussing it and researching it and going really deep and seeing there is actual convincing evidence to me. Like it could be. But then I had a question on my ex. Yeah, I asked, I'm like, okay, how is it possible that from right side, it happened on the left side, on his neck? I cannot comprehend. For some reason, maybe I'm the dumb one, I don't care, but I like to ask these questions. Apparently, there is a lot of people that had the same question. So I just need someone to explain it, okay? Because yes, I see the evidence, I see the connections, I see how it's possible. But then that one detail, it doesn't compute. It doesn't work.
But I think so. My first question to you in response to that, did you see John Bray's response to you with regard to the direction?
He sent a video. Yes.
What do you think about his response to you?
I'm still like, what's my problem with it? Maybe I just don't know enough about explosive devices, because to me, when something is exploding, there is like some kind of, maybe it will go the other way. Maybe there will be some kind of push the other way.
Yeah.
And then when he said that it just went on that angle and it ended up here because Charlie was hunched over, I don't know how something going at this speed, like an explosion, wouldn't still like come out. So it's just like this things, maybe it's just my lack of knowledge of how explosive works and how there are different maybe strengths of it, if I can, like the power.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
still confused by it.
No, I'm with you. And I think that like when it comes down to it for me, like there's not any, and I've become this way. When I first heard the exploding mic theory, I was like, nah, like he probably just got shot. Like I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, and there was a long time where I was just like, I think he just got shot. Like I think it was a gunshot, maybe there was deflection. I don't know. But like but then since and then I started having conversations with people like Andrew Wilson came on, and Gary Melton came on, Lisa Knowles came on. And what I became, and having those different conversations, they actually caused me to be a little bit more open-minded to some of the other potential theories that were out there. Like,
kudos to you, by the way. Kudos to you for inviting someone from the opposite side and like trying to get their take on
trying to
things.
understand their perspective on things. And
yeah,
when it comes
I
down
love
to
that.
me, like, I want to understand the different arguments so that I can figure out which one is better. Like, I think that's really, I just want them laid out there, and then we can discern which one is a better argument. And here's the thing, like with regard to like your same skepticism and questions on the exploding mic theory and how it could cause that, it's almost like there are the same skepticisms and the same criticisms of the gunshot narrative. It's like, well, how could an entry wound look like that? You know what I mean? Or how could the bullet from a conventional 30-06 fragment so much that there's only one teeny tiny piece that they can find from a conventional round, not a frangible round? So it's like there are also questions on the other side, on the narrative that, or the Fed slop narrative, as it's been called, or just the gunshot narrative or the gunshot theory. There are certainly questions out there about that. Here's what I'll say, and I'm totally fine with saying this. I actually find that I think what John Bray's and I don't want to put words in his mouth. I actually asked John if he wants to come on. He's doing some work, I think he's going to come on next week because I have some of these questions for him.
You have a lineup on this channel. Oh,
well,
boy.
I feel like I've grown to enjoy having just more longer form conversations with people. I learn a lot more just like talking to people that don't have their. If I just go show after show after show, it's kind of like me having my head's in the weeds of the things that I'm only interested in. I don't like how it kind of pigeonholes me or just like really narrows my focus in things that only I'm interested in. Like, I feel like I learn a lot more when I have
Dear Diary.
when I talk to people. Yeah, 100%. But here's where John, I think, is pretty good, is that I think with his exploding mic, I think it's a directional charge that I think he claims was supposed to never leave the shirt. It was supposed to look like a chest wound. So I think that the wound that we saw coming out of his neck, and I believe I believe he said it's the battery that causes that. It was basically a mistake. So the wound that we see, we weren't supposed to see. And he's got some pretty good videos and pretty good analysis of that battery pack emerging from Charlie's shirt, where you can actually see it. You actually see it for a brief moment. And he identifies it with the different colors. Like, he does color analysis on it.
Yeah.
That cause it to go up into his neck. And then I believe he even says something falls out from it. So again, it's an interesting argument. Here's my biggest problem with the John Bray argument. And this is actually where I think that Blake Bednar's has a slightly better argument. So like, I actually see John Bray's argument and a combination of that and Blake Bednar's argument with the audio. I actually find it like pretty solid. But in any case, John Bray thinks that a gunshot actually was fired and went into ballistic gel in the car, basically under the overpass behind Charlie Kirk. And that to me is something that I'm just like,
like, why to overcomplicate it so much?
That's right. Like, for me,
this is what I keep asking.
Complicated, or more people get more involved, the more unlikely it is. So, and that's where the Blake Bednar's argument, to where it's like all of these different people were involved, and there was all of this like 15 people coordinating right there on the same day. It's like, maybe it was just one, maybe it was just two of them. I don't know. But like, I think it's interesting in that what I like more is the fact that the gunshot sound, there was actually a gunshot that was never fired. We have the exploding mic. The audio was synced. You see a lot of audio imperfections right before the shot or the sound rang out. It could have all been timed. The explosion could have been timed with the audio. That actually is what caused that gunshot. And I'm like, okay, like that's interesting. Yeah. I think that should be pursued. But again, you can see that, like, I mean, we basically just talked about that gunshot theory. We talked about John Bray and the exploding mic, and we talked about Blake Bednar's. But like, I feel like there are questions and there are discrepancies in every single one. So I think just remaining back and suspending judgment and just being open-minded with this whole, what you alluded to is just what Candace has created here, this open source investigation, this crowdsource investigation. I feel like it's just what's most important. Like, we just need to put all of this out there and discern what argument we think
That's
is best,
the
in my
thing.
opinion.
That's the difference between you, me, whoever here, and Gary, let's say. So we're allowing space for these thoughts and those things to be voiced, okay? We want that space to talk about it, to exchange ideas, to see, what do you think happened? What came up in your research? What is your theory? What they're trying to do is silence that, okay? They don't like that. They want us to believe the Fed slop, and that's it. And that's the difference, because they want to, let's say, Gary, he came on your show and you did exchange your opinions and so on. But I get impression of Gary that he doesn't really like people disagreeing with him. And he thinks he's the right one in the situation. And that's it. You cannot convince him. It's not a conversation. It's not a back and forth. Interesting. Let me think about it. It's not in that way. Okay. Candace, from the start, she said she's taking us for that ride. She's going to be doing investigation on daily basis. She's going to tell us about all her leads. She's going to follow that leads. Some of them aren't going to lead anywhere. Some of them will result in something. My main point always, and this is the reason why I don't cover much of the actual act, okay, of assassination, is because my only question is, like, why too complicated? Why not just shoot him and go? Like, why would there be so many hidden things? What was the point? Because a gunshot, like shooting him on the head, on the chest, on whatever, would have exactly the same effect, you know, if it was that simple, if it was that one person doing that. What I don't believe is that it was only Tyler Robinson. I do believe that there is massive background behind it. I do believe there are people that wanted him gone much more than some LGBTQ confused kid, okay? So here I agree. What I don't understand is why too overcomplicated. You want the guy gone, you can do it in a very simple way. One thing is that, yes, it did look like an execution and it did look ritualistic to me. But then again, one bullet does the job, right? One assassin does the job.
Yeah.
So that's why I am like so on the fence to even comment on it, because I am skeptical. I am by nature skeptical, and I don't want to jump into, oh yeah, for sure it was a mic, you know, wow, it sounds so convincing. It still does not. I am interested. I want to hear everything about it. I want to know every detail, and I will be enthusiastically listening to it. And I hope we will come to a resolution, and I hope we'll come to the truth. But I will always remain healthy skepticism. That's what you will get from me.
Yeah, no, and I think that healthy skepticism to all of the different perspectives is important. Like, I think that's the way we get to the truth, and that's the way that we make sure these arguments are actually really sound and really good. I think, like, one of the more annoying things is like Blake Bednar has gotten himself into trouble because he's out here being like, this is the way, I proved it, I need all the credit. And I feel like that, like, look, like, he's done some good work. Like, he's provided like good contributions to the whole on this. Like,
I was very surprised by this whole situation. I'm like, wasn't it the guy that was like so active and so good and in contact with Candace, and suddenly he's like acting weird?
I don't get why we've had to create all of this drama just to basically, because someone deserves all of the credit, or somebody has to be 100% right about all of this. Like, I don't think that's a healthy way of discerning what the truth is here. So, I mean, I share that with you. I share the skepticism. I like how you said that, this healthy skepticism of all of these different narratives. But I think that having that skeptical perspective allows you to sit back and just ask relevant questions to ensure arguments are tightened up. And look, like, we are not the creators of truth. We are subject to the truth, and we are to subject ourselves to objective truth. Like, it's
Yes.
something happened that day and it played out in reality. It it has nothing to do with my opinion on what happened there. So if things come out and reveal themselves as like, oh, whoa, this clearly was a gunshot, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to conform myself with the objective truth. I have
Yes.
no intention of trying to. I don't care if I'm right. I will be wrong in the pursuit of certain things, and I will sit here and admit it if that's the case. I am not looking
Exactly.
to assert any truth onto the world and be in this just all-knowing position. There are so many people that try to sit in that position, and I think that that's what gets so many people in trouble nowadays.
Exactly. Yes, I agree because I get asked on X, especially. By the way, I'm new to X. I started using the platform this month, to be honest.
Are you
And I
serious?
am sure, yes.
Keep going.
People are very honest. They don't
Everybody
hold
make
back
sure
on
you
X.
follow Daily Freddo on X.
Yeah.
I was going through your X feed, and it is just packed with good information. So if you guys aren't following
Thank you.
Daily Freddo on X, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, but people on X, they're like, what's going to happen when it turns out you're wrong and it was Tyler Robinson and like there is going to be some crazy evidence in court? I'm like, well, that's great because that's
Good.
what we've been doing. If there is crazy evidence in court, I'm going to cover it on my channel. I'm going to let everyone know what's going on because that's what I've been doing.
If
I'm
there's
not
crazy,
making up stuff.
overwhelming evidence that
Yeah.
debunks all of this skepticism that I have of this narrative, great.
Yes.
Like, if they are able to
Yes.
prove that individual,
I'll
that
sleep at
picture
night. Yeah.
is Tyler Robinson, I will be very happy. Like, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And I have no problem with that. I think people are confusing. We're not trying to prove anything. Oh man, if we're wrong, which I can't even say that if we're wrong, if we were believing certain things and other things turned out to be true, cool. We'll explore that. I'm waiting for the trial. I'm actually
I'm hoping they can
curious
prove
if
the
there
gunshot
is
theory at
evidence.
trial.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can prove it.
Yeah, so far I'm skeptical because I'm like, the defense didn't even see the gun. They didn't even have Tyler's phone. They just have summaries. Like, how does that work? How does that work exactly? It is really weird. And like here we all follow Baron, right? He's the attorney and he like breaks it down perfectly. So I'm not even going to try and pretend I know anything about court and how these lawsuits go, how these trials go. But no, if suddenly they will pull out like an ace out of their sleeve and they're like, here it is, a video of him shooting, and Charlie goes down, I'll be like, yeah, that's it.
Okay, there we go.
Unless the video was released by TPUSA, then I will have some questions. I'll be like, can we analyze it?
Can we confirm the authenticity of this video?
Exactly.
Because they have the tendency to release inauthentic videos. It's this inauthenticity problem that we have here. But
you can't question it. Sorry, you cannot question it.
Well, and that's
You'll go to hell.
And that's it. Well, you'll go to hell. You'll go to hell. God's blessing will be removed.
But by the way, because I just remembered in that podcast of Erika, she actually says it that she understands that people don't understand her, but people who don't believe in God will not understand her. This is a quote. I am not paraphrasing. This is a quote. So we are not speculating here, guys. This is a quote.
I understand that people don't understand me, but the reason you don't understand me is because you don't believe in God.
Yes.
It's because
just read the Bible, you will know.
Because you're an evil demon, okay?
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Come on, lady. I saw people in the comments. You know what it was? It was the count it all joy. You know, the haters, all the haters say something about me. Count it all joy.
There you go.
I hear all these people saying mean things about me. Count it all joy. It's like, all right. Yeah, we see you doing that. We see you doing
genuine.
that. You seem very joyful, very joyful. I have I wanted to ask you a couple questions, because you seem very good at asking people thoughtful questions. You ask your audience thoughtful questions, and I came across a couple on your X feed. You've asked other people these, but I want to ask you them because I'm very curious as to your answer to just two of these questions that I found. So the first one was, what aspect of the Charlie Kirk case keeps you up at night? What bothers you the most? You asked your audience that, and I want you to answer that question.
Okay, but you next. So first one, we kind of spoke about it on my my first live, but what keeps me up at night is the paving of the crime scene. I just can't get past it. Took 4 days. There are kind of explanations of people who claim they had to do it by Monday because the school was starting by Monday and they decided to just replace the whole thing instead of just replacing part of the grass. And it was biological material and it was gonna, I don't know, smell, whatever. I don't buy it. I don't know. It's the biggest assassination since JFK. Okay, to pave over the crime scene after something like this, it is not just, oh, the kids are coming back to school. Someone in the comments actually said that there are so many shootings in America and it never happens. They never, like they find, unfortunately, I'm not making a light of it. It's horrific that they find bodies in those schools or outside on the yard and no one ever said, okay, let's pave it over. That's not the reaction. They clean it up and they move on. So why to do it here? And I know Baron spoke, I don't know if it was last night. I didn't get to watch his show from last night yet, but I think he brought it up that the Butler crime scene was also paved over, apparently. So another coincidence, right? There are many things about Charlie Kirk's case that keep me up at night. What keeps me up at night is that he didn't sleep in his bed the night before, and Erika claims that he couldn't sleep from excitement, but somehow the night before they had to have a priest pray over him because they were very scared for his life. But he couldn't sleep from excitement. And then, on the same day, when at night they had the priest come over, he sent those messages that he has to abandon the pro-Israel cause. I just get really sad for him. I don't know. I just get really sad. And that's what keeps me up at night. I see all these people, how they're acting now, how his widow is acting, his bride is acting. Oh yeah, Victor Marx keeps me up at night. Like Victor Marx and this thing that he texted her, don't worry, they were just coming after him. You're safe. You and the kids they just wanted Charlie. This one keeps me up at night. This one I didn't mention on my life. This one lives here rent-free until I know. And Kolvet, it was supposed to be you, to Candice.
Yeah.
Those are some of the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You?
I think that what keeps me up at night, I think, has to do with a lot of the initial things that Candice initially revealed that she was basically lied about, slandered for, attacked for early on, which was the exposure of Charlie Kirk shifting views on Israel. And she revealed early on the Hamptons meeting or Hamptons intervention, which we now know that he was bullied by various individuals or friends, as they refer to themselves as in the media, Seth Dillon being the main one that was discussed there. We have Tucker Carlson then coming out and saying that Charlie went to his house immediately after to talk about how he was being treated here. We now know that obviously with the famous text messages that Andrew Kolvet submitted to authorities because he believed it to be relevant evidence, is specifically what he said about the text messages of Charlie saying that he had no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. We have Andrew Kolvet letting Candace Owens know that it was supposed to be her. We know that Candace and Tucker were both notified by Andrew Kolvet to make sure that they were okay. Like, I mean, like, you have all of these things that happen right in the immediate aftermath of Charlie's death. We know that at that Hamptons meeting, we know that Bibi Netanyahu called Charlie Kirk. We know that Erika Kirk was there. So she saw how Charlie was being treated by all of these different people. Yet you still, and this has been my biggest thing. This is honestly what keeps me up at night. It's why I can't reconcile. It's why I can't let Erika completely off the hook here. Ultimately, it keeps me skeptical of Erika and the current leadership of Turning Point USA. That you have all of these things that were happening right before Charlie died. You saw all the hell that he was being put through, and then after he dies, they just continue on with this same business as usual. And I hate that, and I can't shake it.
And I rewatched the video of Candace, her tribute to Charlie. Right after he died, she did the tribute on her channel, and she spoke about him. And from that moment, even in that video, she started then. She said she has very difficult time watching people that were pressuring him and were giving him such a hard time now speaking about him as if nothing happened, as if they were best friends. And that's when she got tears in her eyes. She was literally hurting because of this, because of how he was treated right before he died. And it was crazy because I didn't remember it. I love to go back to old videos or old material, from 9 months ago. This is my new favorite thing, rewatching stuff, because with that perspective, 9 months later, we really see the truth, okay? And Candace, from the start, she was saying that it's not something that she discovered in an investigation. It's something she knew because she was in touch with Charlie. And I know Baron told you on your show. I think I showed the snippet or I spoke about it because I saw that show when Baron was with you on your channel. And he said that he spoke with Candace. She handed him her phone. He went through all the messages. He saw everything. He said, if people think that they weren't friends till the end, that they weren't in touch till the end, they're wrong. They were friends. They were speaking till the end. And it was deep. And there were stuff. She has crazy self-control. And I believe it. I have no reason not to believe it. Because from the first video about Charlie, when Candace was grieving, when everything was fresh, she was already pissed off, at those people. She knew what was going on. And that's why she started the investigation. And you can't get more honest than that. You can't get more real than that. You see her, and this is the real emotion. This is grief. This is real person that loved him,
Yeah. I what Baron said there, and I think that's interesting to take that into perspective, especially with what has been happening recently. Baron said, like, you would be shocked. He said this to me multiple times, like, you would be shocked at how much information Candace Owens is sitting on and how much information she has to go through and sift through, and how many people are giving her information. And that, obviously that comes with responsibility to make sure that everything that you're receiving is authentic. I'm sure she's got trolls or people that are trying to disrupt the investigation that she's doing. But he specifically mentioned, as you just said, that level of restraint that she has. And she exhibited that just this past week when they came out with that AI video, and she waited for Andrew Kolvet to confirm that it was from the Aspen video. And she literally just comes out and she's like, yeah, I've been sitting on this for 7 months. Like, I know,
that was like
I know what you're talking about. Like, that was huge.
Like, we're in a movie.
100%.
We're in a movie now.
Like,
what is happening?
Gosh. Like, well, that's like, I mean, you have people say, like, she's playing chess while other people are playing checkers. And that's right. Like, she's waiting for them to make certain statements to be like, well, I've got this to show you guys. So why don't we take a look at this? But she also, and then this is where I think this is interesting. Do you think that with regard to what she has been sitting on and the information that she has, for her to come out and then talk about the exploding mic theory. Like, what do you think about that?
That's why I am enthusiastic and I am healthily skeptical. Okay, that's my position on everything. With Candace, I have a soft spot for Candace because at the beginning of the show, we said people call her crazy until, again, she's proven right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the heaviest first troll attack on Candace happened around Thanksgiving. She went on a Thanksgiving break and people were just smearing her online. Demonic, evil. It was like the first real wave of hate. It was insane. I did a video about it. I've never seen anything like that. And then it started working back then because people were expecting for Candace to go on a Thanksgiving break and then come back with some kind of bombshell and solve the whole investigation, solve the case, literally have all the answers ready. And she came back, she continued with her show like normal. They were like, what is happening? Why is she not solving the case? Then she met with Erika. And before she met with Erika, it was a whole campaign online that Candace is going to be bought out by TPUSA. They are meeting with her to pay her off, and she will stop investigating Charlie Kirk, blah, blah, blah. So she came back. She talks about the meeting with Erika, and I see comments in the chat, in the podcast, saying, oh, they paid her. She's now paid shield for whatever. It was a whole thing. I actually had to say, make a video about it, explain to people how investigations work, that it's ridiculous to expect for her to go on a week break and come back with the case is solved. That's it. Done. How stupid is that? Like, you guys fell for the campaign. You fell for it. The marketing worked against Candace.
Right.
And since that, I literally had people thanking me for that video because they were like, oh yeah, man, we fell for it. We believed it.
Yeah. Well,
and that's how sometimes it can work.
100%. And what you just said there ultimately is what caused me to really take what Candace Owens was saying seriously very early on. And this is where I think her value became very evident to me, in that the initial situation that caused all of this was Eric Bowling on the Patrick Bet-David podcast talking about this silent breakup that Charlie Kirk had with Candace Owens because she was chasing down too many rabbit holes, as he said on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. And the New York Post came out and basically said that they covered what Eric Bowling said on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. He got a lot of backlash for it. He said that Candace Owens had not done a Turning Point USA event in like 7 years or something like that. A bunch of that ended up being false. It was all lies. It was all lies. Here's the crazy thing. And this is where I started to be like, all right, something's up here. Dave Rubin then took the snippet from the Patrick Bet-David podcast, reposted it on X, and said, I can attest to everything that he is saying here being true. This is consistent with my experience and how everything played out with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. He always prefaces it with, I normally stay out of these things, which Dave Rubin does not do, which is a load of crap, which is he's full of. He consistently always says, and this is what drives me the most nuts about Dave Rubin, I normally try to stay out of these things. I'm above the fray of
I never succeed.
And then he'll always bring up like how someone likes his husband's lasagna, which literally like it triggers something in my brain. I'm just like, stop, shut up. But in any case, this isn't about Dave Rubin. Let's calm down there, Jackie. But he literally reposted what Eric Bowling said. It's like, oh, I can attest that this is true. Well, isn't it funny? Eric Bowling comes out the next week. He has to go back on the Patrick Bet-David podcast and basically say, yeah, that wasn't true. It was a lie.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oops. Well, and this was around the whole time where she put out the text message thread and where she was really talking about the Hamptons meeting. And at that point, that's where I was like, ooh.
Yeah. And not only that, they actually posted a tiny retraction and quoted Andrew Kolvet that Candace and Charlie were friends and remained friends until the end.
Boom.
So like,
Yeah, oh dear. So you really know the details. So this is why I really appreciate talking to someone like you. And that's 100% right. If you read that New York Post article and you go all the way down in it, after they spent the whole time trying to position it as Charlie did have this silent breakup, because the title of the article is that Charlie Kirk had a silent breakup with Candace Owens. At the very end, in the little bottom, there's one sentence that said, we reached out to Turning Point USA spokesperson Andrew Kolvet, who says Charlie and Candace remain friends. Yep, this says that at the very bottom, and that's such an important observation.
It is important because now, 9 months later, we find out from them that no, Charlie was avoiding Candace. He was tolerating her. They were colleagues. He would never speak bad about her, but deep inside his soul, he really disliked her, and he was trying to like stay away from her. So like, it's either one or the other. And I tend to believe the stuff that were said at the beginning. It seems like back then they weren't as careful as they are now, and they didn't have like a worked out agenda and strategy about these things. So that's why I'm telling you, my favorite thing, it's been 2 months, I think. I go back. Yeah. I go back again and again. It's kind of like this moment in investigation. It always happens. I read, because I'm not an investigator, but I read that it always happens when you're like starting to circle the drain and you go back to the beginning, and that's when things are starting to make sense. You start spotting the rats on a ship, like Candace likes to say. Yeah. And she does that a lot, like you said. Now with the video, I cannot wait to know what other cards she's holding, because what Baron said, she has crazy self-restraint. So what does she know? What does she have in her sleeve? I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that I saw somebody put this out, and I think there's something coming up in the trial, I believe, in the very near future. And that was maybe some of the reasoning for Candace putting out the exploding mic thing. I need to double check on that and verify that, but I thought that was an interesting piece of information, but we'll have to verify that. So don't quote me on that. All right. Let me ask you 2 more questions, and then do you have time to continue on with the super chats?
And then that's it. Yeah, I have time. You have only 2 questions left.
I'll keep it to that. So one of the other questions that you asked is, if you had the chance to interview Erika Kirk, what would you ask?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that a good question?
It is a good question. I'm curious as to what your answer is.
What would I ask? There are so many now in my head, because I also read, I'm trying to come up with something that nobody answered, because I agreed with them. I would ask her if she can provide me with an alibi for 8th and 9th of September. If she can go hour by hour through her day on the 8th and 9th of September with proof what she was doing.
So you don't believe the photo that she provided to Andrew Kolvet, who provided to Gary Melton at Paramount Tactical?
You know, it was a hard one because it was so convincing. I immediately was like, oh no, what about now? My hill that I was going to die on. No, I don't believe it.
What is the hill that you're willing to die on right now? You said us Americans were always willing to die on our hills.
I don't have one. I literally don't have one. I am so open-minded, and that's why I think people don't understand me. You see, you don't understand Erika because she's too religious. She's too big of a believer. You just can't get there. You need to believe in God stronger and better, like her, to understand her.
And then you would like her.
To understand me, to understand me, you just need to assume that I just don't have heels that I will die on. If you'll prove me wrong, I'm happy with it. I'm just like,
God. Your understanding of me is dependent on your understanding of God. Wow.
Yes.
That's where we're at. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at here in modern times. Oh my goodness. Oh my.
What would you ask Erika Kirk?
Whew, what would I ask Erika Kirk? I mean, I think first and foremost, just being able to have a 2 to 3 hour conversation with Erika, unscripted, off the cuff, just like a normal conversation. I think it would do well, but I think that maybe she lacks the inability. I mean, the only reason that you're not willing to do that is because not like in that you can't because you don't have the ability to, but you can't in that there are things that you don't want to be revealed. I think that's
Yeah,
ultimately like the only reason why you wouldn't do that. It's like the same reason Kamala
I
Harris
agree.
didn't go on Joe Rogan is because she didn't want it revealed that she didn't have the presidential ability to have a true and just real and genuine conversation. She wasn't able to go on to Joe Rogan and have a 3-hour conversation and be able to hold all of the different talking points that her party really needed her to stick to and to hold to. This is the
Yeah.
same thing as it relates to Erika Kirk. She can't have these 2 to 3 hour off the cuff conversations because that doesn't allow her to stick to the narrative that she needs to stick to.
She would
Um,
accidentally trip and reveal something
yeah.
too much. I just thought of another thing that doesn't let me sleep. Mikey McCoy.
Ooh.
The thing that Candice said that he's the one who told her to look into Kolvet. I want to know more. I want to know more.
Oh man, there's another recent video that came out of that the only person I could look at was Mikey McCoy in it. Did you see the video of them putting Charlie the casket into the back of the car?
Yeah, when he went into fetal position
He's in
in the back.
Mikey
Yeah,
Mikey McCoy is in the fetal position on a railing as all of this
yeah.
is happening. Um I don't know what to think of this. I mean, you know
I
what I
mean,
mean? It's like, is Mikey McCoy like so shattered that he can't operate?
it could look. It could be. He seems to me that he's a sensitive person. Honestly, it seems like this. He's also young, so it could be a simple explanation. It's like his mentor, his friend, is being put inside that car. He might be going through it really, but
he might be broken by it. He might be broken. I
yeah,
mean, seeing that honestly makes it consistent with how he handled himself in the immediate aftermath, to where he just put his finger over his ears and just walked away and couldn't look. At least
yeah,
there's consistency there in here. I say this word and I don't like saying it because obviously it was a highly stressful and emotional situation that he was put through. Like, he was standing
mhm,
right next to his friend when he got killed and shot. So a very traumatic experience. It's like, how would you handle yourself in war? I think this is a question that especially
yeah,
men ask themselves a lot. Like, do you have what it takes? At least there's consistency in Mikey. I hate to say this, acting like a coward in the moment of Charlie being shot and then acting like a coward when his
mhm,
casket was being put into the car. I mean,
yeah.
here's what it comes down to. I'm the father of 5 children. I've got 1 on the way, 6 children, 5 outside
What, you?
living on the earth and 1 inside the womb. Yeah, I have my wife and I have 6
You're
kids.
going to have 6 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. But like, it's
Sleepless.
sleepless. It's a sleeplessness amazingness, right? Yeah. But in any case, like, if something happened to my kid or my family member, my wife, a loved one, I feel like you have a responsibility and like a duty as a man to conduct yourself and to hold yourself to a certain way and in a certain standard. If it were my son that I were putting in the back of a car, because he had just died, I don't know if I'd be able to live with myself if I wasn't capable of maintaining a level of, integrity, manhood. Like, no,
Mhm.
I need to be there. I need to be the one that is there to put him in the car, to put him in the ground. Like, I need to be there. Like, if my brother was sitting next to me and was shot in that scenario, I'm not plugging my ears and running away, and I'm not gonna, like, I'm in there. I'm jumping
Mhm.
in there, and I'm I'm the one with my finger in the freaking wound. You know what I mean? Like I've got blood all over me. Like nobody's touching it except for like the paramedics are gonna have to peel me off of my brother. And that what hurts me in this regard with regard to Mikey McCoy is that they tried to paint him in a certain way after the fact. Like the narrative after was he was a hero. He had blood all over him. Like Mikey was able to gather himself and execute in a way that, you know, George Washington was unable to do during the Revolutionary War. It's like the level of leadership that he was able to prove and show in that moment was, you know, unrivaled. And then you see these videos and you're just like, that's not what we see. And maybe we see a broken guy. And in all fairness, like maybe he is broken by it. And maybe that is the case. But still, the narratives and what they're trying to do. And then that's not Mikey. That's other people. That's his dad. That's Andrew Kolvet. That's Blake Neff. That's other people at Turning Point USA are trying to spin this. They're trying to create this narrative that actually isn't true. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from some of the Mikey McCoy stuff.
I think he was treated, you know, he's a young guy who Charlie hired, told him not to go to college. And I think he was treated like this, like a boy, you know, like a boy that was there with Charlie, that was helping Charlie's assistant, that was taking care of stuff, very talented, very smart. We're not taking away from it. But he was treated like a kid. So I think his reaction was a kid's reaction. Maybe he closed his ears and he walked away because he's not the man. He's not the dad. He's not the uncle. He's not the grown-up here. He's not the one to jump into action. He's the one to like hide now because he's the kid. Now the grown-ups need to take over.
Yeah.
So then once they started talking about him, like he's the one that took over and he was the one that coordinated everything and he was this hero behind the scenes. That's why everyone had some kind of, it didn't fit. It didn't fit his character. It didn't fit what was portrayed until now about him. And it didn't fit that whole situation during the assassination, what he did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still think he's not a bad guy. I kind of feel like he's genuinely good guy caught in a bad situation. Maybe he doesn't even know everything. Maybe they managed to convince him that they're good guys. They didn't do anything. Maybe they didn't do anything. You know, I'm also not here to accuse straightforward. But I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's caught in a bad situation and he's a kid. And he thinks of himself as a kid. I know he's married. I know probably he's going to have a kid on the way, or maybe he already has. And maybe he's going to change and develop like that. I know women and men change once they have children. Okay.
Yeah,
that's when they become these bear, you know, mama bear, papa bear. That's when they become protective. That's when they know true love. And that's when they know the value of family truly. So I think it's hard to judge. We don't know enough, but from what I see, I just think he was treated like a kid. And then maybe he did step up and everyone was shocked that he was able to. Who knows?
Yeah, certainly Candace coming out and saying that Mikey McCoy reached out through a third party to take a look at Andrew Kolvet was certainly a curveball. Was certainly a curveball that a lot of people were definitely not expecting. So, yeah, but again, it's just something to keep our eye on, right? Like you see more and more of this information coming out, and again, it's just an interesting part of this just open source, crowdsource investigation that's currently happening, which is that niche that, I mean, like you said, Candace Owens has created, which is pretty cool. All right, here's the last question that I have for you. I'm really interested in your answer to this. So, do you believe that Erika Kirk is a genius mastermind or a harmless pawn in this whole thing?
She's not a harmless pawn, but I don't think she's a genius mastermind either. I think she is a puppet, but only the fact that she agreed to participate definitely doesn't make her innocent or good for that matter. So I think it's in between. It's what you said before, actually. You touched on it. That knowing what Charlie was going through, because Candice knew. Erika must have known. She said she was his vault, yeah? He told her everything, so she must have known.
Well,
And then
he
she
was
continued
he was also
working.
making public statements. He was on Megyn Kelly explaining everything that he was going through. So
Absolutely.
surely Erika
It wasn't
would
a
have also
secret.
known. Right.
She would have known more and everything, right? Allegedly, Trump called her on the day of assassination and asked her, "What do you know?" And she said everything. So now Candice mentioned that it could have been Trump. So no, only thinking of the fact that she knew what he was going through, and then she just continued working with the same people as if nothing ever happened. No. Look, I said that before because I also want to be fair, and I don't want to criticize Erika just because she's Erika and just because content and just because, people like when we talk about Erika. I don't like to do that. So I always try to be fair. And I came to the conclusion that even if she's done everything right, and even if she was likable, even if her speeches were just outstanding and everyone would believe it and we would cry with her, the fact that she continued working with the same people that were taunting her husband before he was assassinated, that would turn me against her. Only that one fact. That would make me suspicious of her.
Yeah. Good answer. Very interesting.
Thank you very much. What about you? Try to top that now.
I can't. No, I can't. Yeah, I mean, as most people in my audience know, like I'm pretty back and forth on it. I guess my desire, which again, like my desire and my opinion doesn't have any weight or impact on what the truth actually is. I don't want to live in a world where Erika Kirk had any knowledge of this. I don't want to live in a world where, she was involved in any way in taking out her husband and the father of her children. Like I don't want that to be true. I don't want that to be the case. But that being said, like I also don't want to be naive, and I know that we do. I know there is evil in the world. And I know that people do this, like this happens. As hard as that is for me to want to accept, like as someone who truly wants to live in a loving and good world and wants my kids to do the same. So I try to look at it as objectively as I possibly can. And what I see in Erika is I see someone who was, in any case, she has been trying to cling to a boyfriend or a spouse that was going to be of high status. She was dating JT Massey while he was in minor league baseball and while he was on his come up. And if you're unfamiliar with minor league baseball, you reach different levels before you reach the major leagues. And while he was on his come up and advancing, they were together and they were dating. And it's as soon as his career started to fizzle out, as soon as he was cut by one of his minor league teams in 2015, they ended up breaking up. And what I see is Erika just chasing this fame and trying to cling herself to a husband that was going to be famous or of high status. And I think what's interesting as it relates to Erika is that she became aware of Charlie Kirk. Her mother was involved in her being made aware of Charlie Kirk. It looks like, I think there's solid arguments to be made that Charlie Kirk was identified as a very high talent, future president type of individual that was going to be powerful and influential, that the higher ups, the elites, the lobbyist class, whatever you want to call them, wanted to make sure that they could keep in check. And I think that Erika in particular was in a vulnerable spot, given her upbringing, given who she is, given her desire to be famous, given her performative nature. to be groomed to attach to those certain types of individuals. She obviously has the attractiveness and the looks to be able to get someone like a Charlie Kirk. It's kind of a nerdy, really. I mean, I guess you can say he looked like he was kind of good at sports, might have been somewhat athletic, but just kind of like a nerdy, like dorky type of dude. Like, so you see this identification and you see someone like Erika that attaches herself to Charlie. And maybe that was something that was groomed and planned by individuals that were above Erika.
Mhm.
And then you have obviously Charlie becoming what they always expected him to be. And you have Erika that becomes his spouse. And I think it was really supposed to be just the two of them just continuing on this agenda. They were just supposed to be, part of the machine. They were just to be mouthpieces for the machine, and they were for a long time. And Charlie was and built an organization that was very powerful for the machine until Charlie started hanging out with Tucker Carlson too much. I mean, I think that became problematic. And then you have these elites or this lobbyist class that move to find a way to take Charlie out. And I believe that's what happened. I do believe that that's what happened. Whether Erika has direct knowledge of how all of this would have played out, maybe she has hints, and and I've said this before, maybe Erika thinks that her own life is in danger if she strays away from the line that she's supposed to remain on. Maybe she's scared for her kids because of all this. So maybe she's trapped. I've made that proposal, or I've floated that theory out there before, because maybe she doesn't have full knowledge of what exactly they're in on, but she saw what happened to Charlie, and maybe that explains why the agenda has just continued on, and she's not trying to ruffle feathers. So she is just trying to remain, and maybe they identified her as this kind of harmless pawn in this whole thing that wouldn't pose a threat to their agenda. If she's the one that steps in as the leader of this organization, then maybe she's just going to continue it on. They don't have to worry about her getting out of line like they had to worry about with Charlie. So I don't know. Like, I know that I just did a lot of talking there, but like, that's I have these thoughts. I guess but again, like, are those thoughts clouded by my desire for Erika to not want to be involved in this? Like, I don't know. Like, is that like an oversympathetic view of Erika? I don't want to be naive. So I don't know if that doesn't top your answer.
It was almost as good. I'll give you that. What we all notice is how disinterested she is in the case, how disinterested she is in the new evidence that comes out, in new theories, in the stuff that Candace showed her. Egyptian planes, okay, even if it's BS, even if Candace was 100% wrong about it. If someone told me, listen, it's been 7 years or 4 years, whatever, and there are these planes that follow you around. Any political event you go to with your husband, there it is, that plane. Isn't it weird? I'll be like, yeah, show me. Show me the schedule. Where? Which cities? What was I doing? I want to know. Where was Charlie? Where was I?
Right. Like,
this would be a normal human reaction.
Like, I want to know. Like,
exactly.
What's going on
so
here?
These are the human reactions that we're talking about, because normal human reaction would be like, what Egyptian planes? I don't want anyone to follow me. What do you mean? My husband is now, unalived, and I want to know what happened. So she never had that type of reaction. And we know it from Candace, and we know it from observing her as well, because she went on that Barry Weiss interview and she was straight up asked, do you believe Tyler Robinson did it? And she's like, yes.
Yeah.
There is no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in your mind? How? There is doubt in everyone's mind. Even when people say Tyler Robinson did it. Right. Even if people say Tyler Robinson did it, they still entertain a thought, maybe there was someone else involved. Maybe there was some international influences there. I saw it. I even saw that at the beginning, even TPUSA were open to it, because Andrew Kolvet sent that text, right? The screenshot of the text about Israel. So everyone was open to it except her. She's really sure from the start. That's it. Right. She knows.
Right.
That's what doesn't sit right with any of us.
Yeah. 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 Really good point. Man, dang. Like Kasia, I feel like we could go for even longer, but let's we've been going for 2.5 hours almost. Let's finish this
Oh,
up
yeah.
with everyone's comments. Does that sound good?
Let's do this.
Okay. Couple member shout outs. Thank you guys for becoming new members here of the Zach Costello YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. Keep flipping tables, Zach. And I need to ask, is it Kasia or is it Kasia? I should have asked you that before we got on. Is it which one?
The first one. Kasia is.
Kasia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw someone in the chat say it's pronounced like with a SH.
Because when you're Polish, actually, to say my name correctly in a Polish way, you need to smile and say Kasia. But no one can do it.
You're required.
So we stick with Kasia.
You're required to smile.
Absolutely.
Kasia. Okay, but for the American pronunciation is Kasia.
Yes.
Okay.
I make it easy for you guys.
Now all of you guys know how to pronounce Kasia's name in American, in English, and then also in Polish. Kasia.
There you go.
With the required smile. I love it. But keep flipping tables. Yeah. So I noticed that comment come in when we were talking about like the behavior of Christians, like how we're supposed to behave. And, we're never supposed to ruffle feathers or anything like that. Right. Flipping tables. I like that. I like that mentality of Christianity a little bit better. Right. Righteous anger for the truth.
Yeah, for real.
Always be true. We have a channel regular here. Hi from BC or Canada. What do you think led Charlie Kirk to consider Catholicism? Definitely not his wife or anyone at Turning Point USA. Seems important enough for the Z to try and debunk it. Everything is theology. What do you think about that?
I honestly don't understand the whole big deal about Catholicism. Even if he was going to convert, I seriously don't understand the big deal. Obviously, I understand. When I say I don't understand, I understand. They wanted him very much to be Jewish. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
Oh my God. I just remembered the Trump's picture, the AI picture of him hugging Charlie with the American and Israeli flag in the background.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that pops into my head a lot.
And I think that's the important perspective to keep in mind with regard to the whole pushback on, Charlie would never become Catholic. And it's really the Zionist versus the anti-Zionist philosophy that is coming into question here.
The thing is, we need to remember that Candace never said that he was converting. She never said he was going to. She never said he did. It's so made up. I also saw an interview with Tracy Martin, Erika's best friend, who said multiple times that Candace spread the gossip that Charlie was converting to Catholicism. It's not true. I went through every video. I went through every little clip of Candace whenever she mentioned Catholicism and Charlie. The only thing she said was that he was exploring, he was learning about it, and she was like, come on, man, take the last step. Like
he was curious about it.
Like she wanted him to.
Yeah, she wanted. Yeah.
But she never said he was going to or he was doing that. And now that's another lie that multiplied, was over dramatized, and painted Candace in like this bad light. Which again, if he was going to, it's not a bad thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
So again, the panic about what?
It's the prickliness of these things and their response to it that cause people to be like, whoa, like, all right. I mean, obviously there's something here. Like if there's, when you have a pain point on your body and you touch it, like there's a reaction to it. And so when there's something there, it causes you to be like, why are they reacting like this? Like, just a little crazy.
Happens a lot in this case.
It does. Absolutely. It does. And that's why there's so many questions, why there's so many suspicions, right?
Yeah.
Black Line Brief. What's up, Matt? Hey, bro, have you seen my recent episode where I showed multiple Calvary Chapel pastors pressuring Charlie Kirk to marry Erika Kirk? James Caddish, Jack Hibbs, Frank Turek, Rob McCoy. I did not see that, Matt. I mean, that's interesting, though. Are you familiar with any of that?
No, but I'm very interested. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, Matt, we'll check that out. Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate you, man. IDF kills children. This is the handle. Interesting
Very
YouTube
settled.
handle. Not subtle
I
at
wonder
all.
what's your view of the world.
I wonder what YouTube thinks of that that handle. Hello, everyone. Well, hello. Thank you for being here, and thanks for the super chat. Oh, that's funny. Erika Kirk is such a drama queen. I'm sorry, but every time she does that, I would like to, let's say, Ralph.
Yeah.
It truly is difficult to believe her at all. Thank you both for your research and honesty. I love you both. Christ is king. Every time she's a drama queen. I mean, every time she does these, we talked about like kind of the emotional gaslighting,
Theater.
social media moment, theater, performative. Yep. We use those terms a lot throughout this whole thing. But I think we both agree with you. Like, obviously, I think Kasia and I made it pretty clear that we're not a fan of it either. So, because we're evil. And we don't understand.
We don't believe in God. Yeah. We don't understand.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm an empath too. One day in the metro, I was reading. Then I saw a lady rubbing her eyes, blowing nose, and I started to feel emotional. Then she started to sneeze, opened her purse, and grabbed some meds. She had allergies. Okay. Always be true.
So this made you cry.
Yeah, she felt bad for the person, and then she realized she has allergies. Always be true as a regular. She always is good for some good comments and stories. So appreciate that. Mystic, one of our mods here and members, go Max, Zach, and Kasia. Thank you, Mystic. And then Mystic also gifted some Zach Costello memberships. Appreciate it. And then so did Renee. Thank you guys so much for that channel support. Scooch is another channel regular here. You're both right on. There's no real people at Turning Point USA who can come off as genuine. Yeah, it's a big problem they have there. Charlie was one of a kind. Well, Charlie was one that did come off as genuine and authentic. Brilliant and knowledgeable. Even if you disagreed with him, he made great points. I agree. I agree with that comment.
Same.
Yeah, those are great points that you made right there, and we agree. Another one, if it isn't written down, she can't keep on point. Agreed. That has to do with Erika not being able to be authentic and to not have to operate off of a script. Erika won't answer a lot of questions. She dodges. Yeah, agreed. I think this is it pinpoints some
with
of our
scripture, like what we said. Yeah.
Oh, she loves, yeah, and absolutely, she loves to appeal to scripture. She loves to appeal to these inspirational, what we call platitudes, or just like common sayings that just aren't inspirational. They're not inspirational coming from her. Two of my favorite people, love from England. Keep going. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thanks for the comment. So Charlie wanted to convert all Israel to Christianity, ? With regard to Turning Point Israel.
I don't think so. I think it was going to be the other way around. That was the plan.
Well, maybe Charlie had the plan to convert all of Israel to Christianity, but I think Rob McCoy has other intentions from what I can see.
I think Charlie messed up a lot of their plans.
Yes. Yes, and I think that speaks well to the problem that Charlie was becoming for a lot of these individuals that had a certain agenda and a certain idea of where things were going to be going with Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith. Zach, Kasia Ma says hello. And Ma, yeah, it's cute. Ma, you too. Do you know this? Do you know that?
Yes, Moon Goddess. Hello. I hope she's okay. She is a great supporter of all our channels, actually. If you pay attention in your comments, for sure she's there. And yeah, so she's on top of the commenters.
I think
people
we're the
that
commentators. They are the commenters.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Yes.
I've seen Moon Goddess's name before, but what is the Kasia Ma? What is that? Is that
so? No, it's her and her ma.
Name? Is this okay.
No. Both of them. They are fans, and they follow the story a lot. They know a lot, and they are always in the super chats and in comments. Always watching all our videos, guys. They're great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Brian Carter, they took Erika to the next level and she's not delivering. What now?
That's my question. Like when the grift of the widow will end and people will start actually demanding results. And because I saw your conversation with Gary and you said that there is a distinction. People are not criticizing the widow. People are criticizing CEO of the multi-million-dollar charity, right?
Yeah.
So nonprofit. And he was like, no, they're
sexual
going...
figure.
Yeah, but he was like, no, it's a widow, whatever. Yeah, but it's gonna, like, what in 2 years? It's still gonna be the same thing. It's a widow. We cannot expect anything from her. We cannot criticize her. We cannot... I don't know. Doesn't work. It already is not working.
It doesn't work and it's not working. And here's the thing. And I've brought up this example before because you hear people saying like, you know, because we're out here saying like, oh, if Turning Point USA would just provide the unedited raw video of Charlie saying like Erika's going to be CEO and she would do a great job. Like that would help them from a PR standpoint. If they were to come out and again, like provide the audio of the mic that Candace had that talked about yesterday on her show, like that would go a long way in clearing a lot of
100%.
names. Like they have the opportunity to do these things. And then you see these people come out and they're like, they don't owe you anything. They don't have to provide you with anything. And I'm just like, well, here's what it comes down to. Because when you look at it, this just straight from a business perspective and a PR perspective, it's like, no, organizations, you can say you're not responsible. You can say you're not responsible for the public, but like when an organization, especially in America, does something stupid, they get public backlash for it. And you can choose to not acknowledge or not address that situation. That's up to you. It's going to have consequences on you, whether you like it or not. You can decide that they can ignore all of the public backlash they're getting. They can ignore all of these questions. They have the right to do that. Sure, they don't owe us anything, but we also have the right to speak out against the organization. And then that may cause them to lose donors and lose money. Like these things, like these organizations, they ultimately are
Normal
accountable. Thing. Right.
Charlie was criticized all the time.
100%.
All the time.
100%. 100%. You can just
comes with a job.
You can bury your head in the sand and not address anything if you want to. I mean, that's a certain strategy. I wouldn't recommend it. Or you can come out and just like tell the truth. Like that would go a long way for Turning Point USA. Like I've said this early on, like I would be Erika's biggest cheerleader if she came out and were like, yeah, we're going to go max and trying to find who the heck killed my husband. We're burning ties with all these Zionist donors. Like I know what all you guys in the media tried to do, and screw you. Like if she did that, I've said like I'd be one of Erika's good boys. I'd be here, you know, like doing the same. Like I'd be here giving her props. That's not what we have, though. That's not what we have. And again, like they've completely botched this PR, this public relations effort that they have for this organization. And we certainly here in the public have the right to talk about it.
Yep.
Count it all joy, Dr. Kirk.
Oh, you didn't do the thing. You read it wrong.
Count it all joy.
There you go. That's the correct way.
That's my Erika. That's my Erika interpretation. Count it all joy. You will be joyful. Zach and Kasia, stay salty. Matthew 5:13. I normally always read a scripture verse here, so I think Matthew 5:13 would be a good one. I would assume that it's the salt of the earth, but let's see here. Matthew 5, chapter 13. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its taste, with what can it be seasoned? It is no longer good for anything but thrown out and trampled underfoot. Yep. I mean, that's I like that. Christians staying salty. That's another good way. Stay salty. Keep flipping tables. Like this is how we as Christians should be in the ways of this world. We should be calling out the ways of this world. I think we have a responsibility to do so in standing for the truth. So yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. We got a couple gifted Zach Costello memberships. Thank you so much to you guys. Awesome show, guys. Both of you have done great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great show today. two of my favorite creators. Thank you, Intuition Jen. Intuition Jen is a regular here. Thank you.
Thank you.
We talked about what we would ask Erika. Always Be True said, I would ask Erika about her childhood and those details. Good question. I think Candace has a lot of questions with regard to that as well.
That would be a long conversation.
Definitely would. Seems like there's a lot there. Scooch, their PR sucks and always has since. Hire Baron. Yeah, I mean, I think Baron would do a better job on that PR.
I think Candace should do it so many times. She's just like, just hire me. I'm just going to give you advice. Yes.
Please let me help you. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like that's might not happen, but we've been thrown curveballs before. Who knows?
Imagine.
That'd be crazy. They called Mikey amazing and all of the nonsense before Blake B released the UVU review video. We had no idea back then. Then we knew. Yeah, I think that UVU video that Blake had released, again, that's one of his very
and then it stopped
contributions. Yeah. But he's the one that I think that video was what captured Mikey walking, and it captured everything.
Yes.
In regard to that. Yeah. What do you
After
mean by
this video, it stopped. It wasn't anymore. The campaign about Mikey, it stopped, if you notice.
Oh, yeah.
It was so intense, so intense. Mikey, he did this, he did that. Mikey was in the studio on Charlie Kirk show. And then suddenly this video came out, and Mikey, where's Mikey?
And it stopped that campaign. Interesting. Again, a great observation there. She's been chasing fame her entire life. Poor Charlie Kirk. Yep. Yeah. I think that's one of the
that's what we
main
see,
causes of skepticism with regard to me and Erika Kirk specifically. Chasing fame has made her infamous. It's a good quote. I like that. You guys should have head-to-head like this at least once a month. Excellent meeting of the minds. Love both of you. Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I mean, I mean, Kasia, I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. I think this has been
same
good.
Now that I do lives, I'm going to invite you for sure. I have a whole list. Yeah.
I'd be honored to join you on the Daily Freddo, the better coffee.
Yeah, I need to give you a chance to top my answers, so practice, then you come on my channel.
I will do my best to be a better interview than you were here on my channel. I don't
Good
think
luck.
I could be. I think that's a losing game for me. What are your thoughts on Charlie's book? I'm curious as to your thoughts on this.
The thoughts on Charlie's book, the Stop in the Name of God.
Yeah.
I know you did a video on it.
That's actually that video that I did on that with regard to Charlie's book and him saying that he was working on it. That's what you and I, that's where we initially connected. I messaged you on X to provide because you covered something that Charlie had said at one of his events, and I asked you to give me the source on that video, and you did that for me. So that was the first time that you and I were connected. You saved me. You saved me. That was a good video. That was a good live show. That one did pretty well. So I owe you all the credit for that. So thank you. Thank you so much.
There you go, guys. He's only successful thanks to me right now. It's all coming out. He doesn't know where Cyprus is. Okay. You learn a lot about Zach today.
Oh man, I'm only good because of Kasia, you guys.
There you go. You are all welcome.
Do you have any thoughts on Charlie's book?
I think he finished it. I cannot tell if it wasn't modified by somebody afterwards.
I think that's going to be impossible. I don't know if that's even going to be possible for us to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can be suspicious of it because we see how his message is being changed in real time.
Yeah.
But how will we prove anything? How would one even No, unless there was like a copy of a book written by him somewhere, like the first version and then the published version, and we got our hands on it. Otherwise, I don't see how we can know for sure.
Yeah, the only way to know would be is if we can get the editor, like if he had an initial editor on it that saw an original version of it that was working on it with him, that then we can compare that to what's actually been released. The problem is that publishing company that put it out, I think, is like owned by Donald Trump Jr. I mean, we're never getting that. We're never getting that information.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it'll come out. We'll see. I think it's interesting. I mean, he did the Sabbath, and he talked a lot about like almost like looking at the Sabbath and a day of rest, like as God commanded us from like a personal development standpoint, which I don't have a problem with.
He did believe in that. He did believe in that.
Yeah,
he spoke about it a lot. Yeah, and he said he was writing a book about it. He even the publishing date all fits. It's all good.
It all fits. The only thing that's skeptical is again, it does have a lot of Christian Zionist propaganda in it. So I wonder where all that came in. That's interesting, right? I have no problem with like the Sabbath kind of personal development aspect of things. I think that's interesting. As someone who like likes to infuse like Christianity and like God's teaching into like practical everyday living, I'm all for that. But it's more of the Christian Zionist messaging that causes me to be a little bit skeptical of maybe some of the changes that were tweaked within that book. And it's just that manipulation of his legacy that a lot of us are concerned about, you know? Good question though. Lionel is correct about people not understanding the word Zionism. Need to do a show and explained about John Darby and Schofield introducing it. Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot about that. I have talked a lot about that and supersessionism and what kind of Orthodox Christian belief is in that regard. I think that a very simple way to define Zionism is an individual that believes the current nation state of Israel is the biblical Israel, and that God's blessings are determinant on whether or not you support this current nation state because you believe it's biblically supported, it's divinely protected. That's what I would say is the definition of Zionism. I don't believe that the definition of Zionism is that you believe the Jewish people should have a homeland. I think that's a gaslit definition of what people say Zionism is. And I don't agree with that premise. So in any case, like I think that the very simple definition of Zionism is those who believe the current nation state of Israel is the biblical Israel. That's the best way to define it, in my opinion. But yeah, Lionel did say that. So I think that definition is obviously very important. But it's like there's a lot of changing of definitions nowadays. And that's another big problem that we have. Thank you both for the wonderful conversation. The many unsettling feelings I've experienced after Charlie Kirk's assassination drew me to this magical community. I'm more than appreciative of you all. Battle buns for all. Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about kind of this niche that's been created, and it's pretty cool to see this community of, you know, anti-establishment, alternative media commentators and commenters that have all kind of, you know, joined together here.
Yeah, I spoke about it before as well, that as soon as I kind of joined in and started doing my thing, inserting my own research and findings, you guys started shouting me out, and I was immediately part of it. Like, I just want everyone to know that it's so cool because there is no competition. Nobody is competing with each other, you know, trying to top each other's videos, trying to top what the one finds. When I find something, my hope, honestly, is that if I found something, Zach, Coach, Baron, whoever will take it one step further. Maybe that's going to be useful for someone. Maybe someone has more information than me and can connect it to his own research, and that will take us a step further. It's honestly, it works like that. And I think it's really cool, that community, how they call it, to be part of that community. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Just contribution to the whole. I love how you just said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love that. Not evil, honest. I'm sure that was commenting on something with regard to the conversation that we were having. I can't remember specifically when that might have been. Do you?
I'm just going to say hi, Jen. Jen is very active on my channel as well.
Cool.
Hello,
Thank you,
darling.
Jen. Thank you, Jen. I'm assuming you're not. Not evil. Honest. I'm
Maybe it's
assuming she's
about
not
me. I'm not evil. I'm honest too.
you. Oh, that's right. That's right. Of course, it's about
Probably.
you.
Yes. It's all about me.
St. Peter's wife, thank you for the super chat and the donation there. I appreciate that. Love you both. Christ is King. Thank you, Jen. We love you too.
Mm.
In a friendship and community sort of way, of course. Christ is King. Amen. Would be a dope event if you two, Lionel, Candace, Baron, Christina F., Jimmy Dore, Ian Carroll, one big stream. Oh, I think Kasia and I would be certainly happy to do that.
I'm there. I'm bringing my Freddo. I'm there.
I wouldn't.
I don't
turn
even
that
have to talk. I will be just like,
just sitting there,
really?
just taking it all in.
Exactly.
That would be a heck of a stream, even if I
Or
wasn't.
everyone come to Cyprus, you know? Everyone come to Cyprus. We hang out. We go to a restaurant. We go to Bouzoukia. Yeah.
That would be fun, and then all of our opponents could think it's some big psyop that we're putting on, like we're trying to leverage some
Yes.
political relationship over in
Yes.
Lebanon or something.
We're all being paid.
We could really get
You know.
people. We could really get
No.
people on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have
I
them go down that
believe we
rabbit
should
hole.
all post a picture of the same souvlaki and on our Insta stories, and that will just break the internet.
That'd be good. That'd be good. That'd be good. Charlie becoming Catholic would have caused so many conversions. Candace was already on her way in. Evangelicals would have lost Zionist influence. Yeah, I mean, I think that, and that's the biggest reason. It's the Zionist issue that I think is the biggest kind of sensitive issue when it comes to a potential conversion or even Charlie's interest in Catholicism.
Yeah.
I've had good conversations with John Yep, who knew Charlie for a long time, about some of the further conversations that they were having about his Catholicism, and they're interesting. He got in trouble for saying some of the stuff because of, you're just not supposed to say that Charlie was interested in Catholicism. It was more than just the architecture, as Tracy Martin describes it as. So they keep trying to rewrite history. Yeah, that there is a tendency for tyrannical individuals to try to rewrite history. Got to watch out for that stuff. Definitely got to.
That's why be careful with ChatGPT, Grok, and all the AI stuff.
Very much so.
I always say that.
Well, very much so. You have the founders of all of those companies that have their own particular agenda, and then you've got foreign governments that are paying to create a web infrastructure to return favorable answers on their behalf. On these large language models and ChatGPT. So yeah, definitely something to watch out for sure. Charlie stood up for Tucker, telling him to go Max. He had just went to his house. Why do you think Tucker is barely speaking about Charlie?
I mean, Tucker went on Charlie Kirk's show with the guys and was speaking about Charlie. Tucker spoke at the funeral. I think. And Candice also said that he likes Erika, right?
Mm-hmm. I think he's treading lightly.
I think so. Look, guys, I'm also going to say something, because it is very easy for us as well to be behind our computers, not being directly involved with those people, not knowing them personally, and not being in actual real danger, like sticking out our necks for real, like Tucker, like Candice. They just lost their friend. Their friend was assassinated. If they want to tread lightly and if they want to stay careful, I said that about Megyn Kelly as well. If they want to be careful, if they want to take their time to declare themselves one or the other, they have a right to do that. We give them grace and we let them take that time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think we've seen, with regard to the Charlie Kirk investigation specifically, we've seen Tucker come out and say some stuff that obviously he doubts the official narrative. I mean, it seems that's pretty clear at this point. But he's definitely stayed out of the Turning Point USA Erika Kirk fray, for sure.
Maybe something happened after that speech. Maybe he has knowledge of something and that keeps him quiet. I don't know.
I think based on what Tucker has said, it seems as though Tucker is of the opinion that it was more than just the lone wolf narrative that took out Charlie. I think he is of the mind, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. It's just what I observe listening to a lot of Tucker, is that he believes there was a larger conspiracy by definition to take out Charlie Kirk. Seems as though that's the case.
Yeah.
But yes, he's stayed away from the Turning Point USA and the Erika Kirk criticism, which, I mean, I can understand. They had a personal relationship, so, you know, as you just mentioned, I think we got to take that into consideration. Please do a show on Polish history. Americans have been lied to. I'm assuming this is not directed to me.
How come? I will consider that. Why not? I can look into it. Just now we're just focusing on something else. But yeah, I'll try to find time. Maybe on one of the lives, I'm going to weave that in. And but I need to know what history you're particularly interested in. Poland was christened in 966. So that's a lot to cover since then. So if there is anything in particular that you're interested in, yeah, I'm happy to.
Cool. The Garrison Project. This is the last one here. Hi, Kasia and Zach. First super here. Thank you so much. What does that say? To see creator. Oh, love to see creator unity. Christ is King. Amen. Yeah.
Amen.
That's a good one to end on. Kasia, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for taking the time to join me here. I mean, almost 3 hours. We're right under the 3-hour mark. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Let everybody know where they can find you and follow you.
You can find me on YouTube, Daily Freddo with Kasia, and on X and Instagram. I am mostly active on X. We can chat there. We can connect in the comments of my posts. So I encourage you to follow me there. That's, I think, where I'm the most active at.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Kasia, thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was. We'll have you on again here soon. Thanks.
No. First, my channel. First, we said.
That's
we
right.
should try and top it.
Right. I need to try and top. I need to try and top it.
Yes.
See if we can do it.
Yes. Do some studying. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to. Well, now that I know where Cyprus is, that gives me a little bit. That gives me.
There you go.
I'm more prepared than I was today, right? But no, I was so focused on, you know, I mean, I watched a good amount of your YouTube videos. I was going through your X feed, but didn't have
time for
the
geography.
mind
Yes.
to go and check the geography.
It's okay.
So, all right, cool. Well, anyway, thanks again, and look forward to talking to you here again soon.
Thank you. Me too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.